guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. We're coming off of Thanksgiving, and our members and experts had a ton to be thankful for last week. Let's get to the winners. In the NBA streets, Ash Frank NFL won $1,500. NYG Fan used AP's heat map to win $1,800. D-Rex26 hit for $4,500, and new subscriber Tom hit for $15K. Burr PBC shipped for $33K, while the Man 11 had yet another huge payday, shipping for $100,000. RPS continues to dominate all sports, including World Cup soccer. Our team has been crushing it with the content, and we have the receipts to prove it. Go Boys 18 hit for $1K. New member Wes Ray won over $1,300. Jaime's content helped Poker Pastor get through a tough time, hitting for $2K. Big T won over $20K. Rubio's hard work grinding out soccer content paid off with a $20K shipper. While the biggest winner was RPS member Eddie, who turned $500 into over $30,000. Our NFL content has been on fire all season, and we didn't let the Thanksgiving holiday slow us down. We have plenty of free content available on our YouTube channel daily, so make sure to subscribe right now to access the winners. DK for 5 hit big on Thanksgiving, winning $10K. C Jacobs 986 joined him, shipping for $15K. On the main slate, Racing Jason 910 hit for over $6K. LT Dog 24 shipped for $50K, while my own heater continued, winning my first FFWCC. For Showdown, our guy Hoop was a big winner, shipping for over $100K across sites. He used his core plays laid out for our premium members, including a low-owned Jelani Woods, who ended up breaking the slate. Shout out to YGuy223, who won over $9K as well. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What's up, everybody? I'm Tyler Tamboline, a.k.a. Toe Tagging Tim. Whoa, wait a second. No, I'm not Toe Tagging Tambo. He is at the King of the Beach with our guy, Cape Phallic, as well as a couple of our members. It is the Sunday Off the Chalk Show. Happy Sunday to you. Before you get too comfortable, before you take your PJs off to start stroking to AP and the Chiefs because they're on the slate, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not already a member, head on over to RunPureSports.com. Check us out. We've got player pools today. We've got core plays. Someone is winning $1 million, and I have a feeling it's coming from the Run Pure Sports community. But we've got a special guest this week. I'm so happy to see him. It's been a long time. It's been since baseball season. Actually, we did an NBA show together, DC. How are you this morning? Thank you for getting up in the middle of the country to join us.
Yeah, thank you. Bright and early here. Big shoes to fill with Tambo, who's been on an absolute heater at the King of the Beach. I think he's got the DraftKings football championship coming up in a couple of weeks as well. I'm glad I didn't have to fully fill the shoes. JT filling in as the host duty. You know, I couldn't do both, but happy to be here breaking down this Off the Chalk show with you guys, and excited for week 13 here in the NFL.
DC, always good to see you. Can't wait to get into it. AP, I see that you've got the gear on. I actually had a prop for one of the teams that I think my play of the day is going to come from, but I couldn't find it this morning. So how are you doing? How excited are you to watch this game in the light window, a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game?
Yeah, very, very excited. I mean, if you look at Kansas City's remaining schedule after this game, pretty easy. I mean, the Broncos suck. The Raiders are not good. They play them. They play them 3 times. They get a play. I forget. I mean, win this game, and I don't think they're going to lose another game from here on out. They'll win the AFC, and everything goes through Arrowhead, which is what me and DC want. So it's going to be good. And no, I have a take on this game though. I think that's going to be different than a lot of people out there, though. So I think we see more of a defensive battle, very similar to what we saw when Mahomes played Josh Allen, about a month ago, roughly. So I see the game underwhelming just a little bit, but yeah, another shout out, Tambo, K Fallick, everyone out there at the King of Beach. Good luck today. And then we got multiple milli makers, the 555, the $20. So a lot of money to be had today.
Yeah, some great prize pools. That's what I was doing just before we came on, was making sure that I was entered in everything I wanted to be entered in. Guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If we get to that 750 number, that's our goal every week. I know we can actually blow past it. DC's going to give you his core live on the air. It's going to be the early core, but he's going to give it to you. So let's get to that 750. I know, just looking at him this morning, I know that he's got some sneaky takes that he can't wait to give out. So let's get into it. We'll start with quarterback, the quarterback position here this week. Obviously, we've got some choices: Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. AP, I'll stay with you. It seems to me that Kansas City-Cincinnati game, although I'm really excited to watch it, on the Kansas City side, really tough to determine outside of Travis Kelce where that ball is going to go. And then just the pieces in this game are pretty priced up. It's a difficult, if not impossible, game to stack. So where are you looking at to maybe eat some of the popular plays at quarterback or get a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, so what, like we we say it each and every week. This looks like a really fun and good tournament slate. So I'm going to go right back to it. It looks like a great tournament slate today. Shout out to you, Tambo, too. If you're up early watching this, you'll love that. But like, look, man, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, like the three chalkier quarterbacks. Then you got like Geno Smith, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, like all ahead of, projected to be ahead of guys like Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, like some of these really elite quarterbacks. Fields obviously with the shoulder issue, but man, full participant in practice. Like I think, the Bears Packers, while the Bears don't have really much to play for. When's the last time they had something to play for? It's been quite some time. And this is a rivalry game. So like I am working on the assumption that Justin Fields is a full go. And what does that mean? Like fully, like shoulder good? No, it's football, man. These guys are going to play. If he's in there playing, he's going to want to play to win. So the quarterback position is going to be one where I definitely get a little bit different. And going right to that Packers-Bears game, like this total feels a little light to me. I see the number going way over this mark. Just look at just look at the box scores of both of these teams. Their defenses can't do anything at all. The Packers defense can't stop the run. They gave up a ton of yards to Hurts, the Eagles last week. And then you got the Bears who can't stop anyone too. So old man Aaron Rodgers might actually have a breakout game here in this rivalry spot. So this is a game that I love. I'm going to have exposure to Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers, and they're coming in at like very, 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 very low ownership. So that's going to be one spot that I'm targeting. I'm going to be full fading Joe Burrow, JT, up top. I'm showing him right around, maybe 15 to 18%. And, the thing about ownership too at the quarterback spot, not something that we're generally concerned about, but on a slate like this where you can group together that top group, Lawrence, Goff, Smith, Watson, even Carr, Burrow, like I group them all together. And if I'm not on those guys, I'm getting a lot of leverage by moving off of that group there. So that's one thing I'm definitely looking at. I will say, so with Joe Burrow, one of the reasons why I'm under on that game is I just think Kansas City's game plan defensively, like when you look at historically what these two teams have done. So one thing that Cincinnati has done and why they've had Kansas City's number, they've been so good, especially in the second half, of limiting Mahomes in this offense and their touches. They pound the rock. They just churn the clock. They try to make the game as short as possible. And that's how in the second half, they've just absolutely dominated Kansas City. And then on the other side, I just think, man, Kansas City's defense, I like what I'm seeing right now with them. I don't think they need to dial up a ton of blitzes. I think they're going to be able to get pressure with their front four, which is looking very good right now. And then you got Trent McDuffie, who's been freaking excellent, man. And I think they're going to be able to really try to, I'm not saying take away Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, very, very difficult to do. But I think they're much more able to create a scenario where they can limit that. They can, say, hey, beat us on the ground. And I just see this game underwhelming. So I'm going to be under on Joe Burrow. I love these spots, though. Justin Fields in tournaments, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts, too, another quarterback I have a ton of interest in. I think that game, the Titan Eagles game, like I see this one being a sneaky one in Millie Maker type formats where we could see, a little stack there go off. And we'll talk about the running back position, obviously, when we get there. But kind of to sum this up, I'm getting different at the quarterback position this week, and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, Cincinnati, very good in the second half. Excellent halftime adjustments they're making against seemingly every single team they play. TC, we'll bring it over to you, and then I'll give some takes at quarterback. We've got the top three right now looking as Burrow, Lawrence, Goff, and then Deshaun Watson. Back after 2 years, sneaking up into the fourth position. Perhaps he gets a little bit of steam and ownership here just because of that matchup against Houston. I tend to think that's better all around the situation for the Cleveland run game. What are you looking at quarterback?
Yeah, Watson's certainly an interesting play coming back from I think almost full 2 years, like 700 plus days off for Watson since he last played football in the NFL. I kind of expect him to just look like his normal self, to be honest. I mean, we'll see when he gets out there, but he's kind of an ad-lib type quarterback anyway that doesn't rely on a ton of timing type of plays. I think he can go out there back in a dome at home where he's comfortable against a bad defense. They're not going to need to throw the ball, Cleveland won't against Houston, but I mean, if they want to, right? If they want to get Watson going in his first game back, they're certainly going to be able to. So I do like his upside there at 6,500. Lawrence and Goff, I mean, it's really hard to poke holes in either of them as fantasy plays, right? They're cheap. They're both under 6K on DraftKings and a 51 total. They've got their weaponry. Goff in particular has, Jamison Williams back here, and then also Chark, Reynolds, obviously the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So Goff at 5,300, certainly in play. I like Lawrence as well. I kind of like the Rodgers call that AP made. I mean, early in the week, it looked like I thought Fields and Rodgers were both going to sit this game out. Rodgers dealt with that injury last week and came out of the game early. And then Fields, it kind of seemed like they might shut him down. Obviously, nothing to play for in Chicago outside of development and draft picks, right? Like you could make the case that they should want to lose games. So I think Fields must be feeling pretty good and good to go, full practice. I'm not really worried about the shoulder. And we saw, as AP mentioned, what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles did. I mean, they ran for 300 yards total against the Packers. And that's the strength of this Bears run game, obviously, even more so than the Eagles. So, yeah, Fields, I think people are going to be a little bit scared of the coming off the injury thing. But, I mean, we've seen his upside. It is arguably higher than anybody's, including Patrick Mahomes in the entire NFL. He's going to be low owned. The matchup couldn't be any better. They're at home. Yeah, I love Fields, and even Rodgers with his receiver is good to go, right? I don't know if maybe last week he's had a game here where he's had Watson, Lazard, Randall Cobb, even Romeo Doubs might be available in this game. So you could see Rodgers perhaps have his best game of the season against a horrific Bears defense as well. So really good spots for quarterbacks below that 6K mark with Lawrence, Goff, Rodgers. You can go up to Watson there at 6,500. Justin Herbert. I mean, the Raiders have had the worst pass defense all year long. This is another game in a dome. A little bit worried about the banged up offensive line for the Chargers, but Herbert obviously still good enough to get the job done. Talked about Fields. And then the two guys at the top, I think, are both very interesting. Seeing Mahomes come around, 5% ownership or so for him. You get it, right? At 8,300 on DraftKings, you just have to do so much. Like so much has to go right for Mahomes to get to the top of GPPs. Not only does he have to crush at that price point, right? I think you need, a minimum of 30 plus probably to compete in GPPs with that price point for Mahomes. But also, you can't have Lawrence go off for 30 plus at that cheaper price point because you're kind of behind the eight ball. So a lot has to go right for Mahomes. That's why he'll be lower owned. But we know the upside is there in the potential shootout. And then Jalen Hurts, this matchup for for Philadelphia in the passing game looks really good. Tennessee has been excellent against the run, but really, has struggled relatively against the pass. So you can see Jalen Hurts airing it out here. Obviously, he can get the job done on the ground on scrambles and stuff like that. So I do like those two guys at the top. It's just when the cheap quarterbacks have when there's multiple cheap quarterbacks that have a chance of putting up 25 plus, it's kind of hard for the expensive guys to compete unless they absolutely nuke the slate. So kind of a big quarterback pool for me this week. I'll spread it around a little bit at the different price points, but I think a bunch of guys in play for sure.
Yeah, the thing with Mahomes is you're going to pair him with Kelsey, and that already takes you for a two-man stack to $16,500 on DraftKings, right? Because it's really difficult to pair him with anybody else on that team.
Yeah,
so,
I did look at that though, and those two are like no surprise, but massively correlated together. In the 5 games that Mahomes has gone over 30 this year, Kelsey's averaging 28.3 fantasy points. So those two, if you get the right game, that's 60 plus fantasy points right there in roughly half their games, which is expensive, but that's a hell of a way to start your lineup.
For me, it's more the equity, right? Because if you're playing them, then you're going to be stuck in this 3 and 4K range for a couple of plays. And I think on any given slate, you can punt one spot. I think punting 2 is where your lineups start to look a little bit thin. So I like the calls on that Chicago game. Obviously, the defenses there are terrible. A couple of guys you didn't mention that I've been looking at recently, the last couple of days have kind of grown, in my opinion. One, we just saw Mac Jones shred this Minnesota Vikings defense. Mike White looked pretty good last week against a similarly situated Chicago Bears defense. Minnesota's defense has been terrible. And I like this Jets team. I like what they're doing. They obviously like Mike White. So I do think he's in play. And then a guy, both of you guys talked about a couple of games that you think the total is low. There's a game in a dome with a 42.5 total, and the Steelers are on a short week. And that's a 3-man stack for $15,000, leading off with Kenny Pickett at just $5,100 on DraftKings. And when you make that stack, your lineup certainly don't look thin at all. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 750 just before the morning wood, and DC is going to give you his core live on the air, which means if you're not a member, you get a little bit of an advantage today. So there you go. Hit the like button, or as Tambo says, take a hike. We're moving on to running back. The 3 more popular running backs, Josh Jacobs, of course. All the fish want to play him coming off that monster game in Seattle. Travis Etienne, who's coming back from injury, and maybe there's some other players in that backfield now that are available. Austin Eckler and Dameon Pierce. DC, will stay with you. Which one of those guys are you more interested in, or do you find others that you're going to be looking to?
Yeah, so I think Eckler up top looks pretty good. I mean, just the huge amount of pass volume, right? He's essentially a wide receiver close to leading the league in targets, who can also get rushes. Obviously has been inefficient with the rushing recently, but he can run it in. It's just so many ways to score touchdowns. I mean, 12 touchdowns on the season, probably going to get, what's his target projection? Like 12, something crazy for Eckler. Most of those are short stuff that will be complete. So I do really, really like the chalk on Eckler. Dameon Pierce, the matchup's really good for him, obviously against Cleveland, whose rush defense has struggled, but I do worry a little bit, has he hit the rookie wall to some extent? I mean, these last 2 games haven't exactly been horrible matchups for him. And 0.8 and 1.6 yards per rush, 8 yards rushing in each of those last 2 games. Now he's going to be popular in a game that they're probably going to be trailing, kind of got game scripted out of those last 2 games anyway. So Dameon Pierce, some chalk, you can't play everything. He's chalk that I feel relatively good fading. And I was, you caught me by surprise offering up my early core, JT. So I was writing that down while you were talking. Did I miss anyone else that you wanted me to mention here?
Listen, the people have to get to 750.
Yeah.
So it's a stretch goal. Now they've done it before, but they've got to get to 750, 804 watching. So the capability is there. I actually hit the like button to help you get there because I want to see you give this away. But AP, we'll go over to you. Eckler, Travis Etienne, Dameon Pierce. What are you looking at?
I mean, first off, DC, do you even know what your core is?
Yeah.
You do?
Listen,
Do you really?
I got a good idea. Yeah, JT offered it up. I gotta come through for the people if they get there on the 750 legs.
I need that $1 million winning lineup. So
I got it written down here. I got 5 guys. So if you get the 750, I'll give it away.
You're way ahead of me. If JTA has offered up my core, I would not know what to say yet. There's a lot to dive in. And everything. So yeah, running back. I don't know about you guys, but this has been one of the things that has tilted me over the last few weeks. Just it's like, if we go back 4 or 5 weeks ago, chalk running backs absolutely smash. The last 2 or 3 weeks, they absolutely get crushed. So it's just one of those things. You got to zigzag, all of that. What I'm doing is, I'm not even looking at ownership. I'm not even looking at who's going to be popular or whatever. I just want the best running back and whoever fits into my lineup to make it work. So a few of the spots that I see that are very, very good. One, Nick Chubb. So I'm playing this Browns side one of 2 ways. One, I agree with DC. I think I'm going to have a little bit of Deshaun Watson because this is a spot where this Texans defense is very bad, and it could be just they want to get him integrated against his former team. Let him throw for 3 touchdowns, or they handle him with kid gloves and they do what they do. Yeah. Feed Nick Chubb, one of the best, if not the best, running back in the NFL. And so I think it's likely that they just feed Chubb. I think he has a monster game here. 8K. We know ownership is going to spread out a little bit, it seems like, at running back this week. I know ETN getting a lot of steam. But yeah, Nick Chubb, a guy I have a ton of interest in. And then I'm going back to that Packers-Bears game again. And this is going to be one of the stands. I got a bet on the overs. I love both running backs in this game. Like, here's the thing about this game, just to touch on quarterback one other time. With what Fields does on the ground, you could argue stacking up Fields and stacking them up with multiple pieces with the Packers. This is a game where I could play Fields, Montgomery, Aaron Jones, and just looking at their price tags, and then Christian Watson, since he's been absolutely smashing. So when you think about that, it's like, wow, that lineup looks terrible. But man, neither defense can stop the run, especially the passers right now, but the Bears too. Their defense is terrible. Christian Watson's been an absolute stud. We know Aaron Jones is going to be he's going to be getting work in the pass game too. You could even throw AJ Dillon, take this to a true Millie Maker format, throw AJ Dillon into the mix too. So I see just, a lot of points in this game, a lot of yards, especially on the ground. Fields rushing upside, So anyways, back to running back, Dave Montgomery, tons of interest in him. Aaron Jones, tons of interest in him. Nick Chubb, I absolutely like him. I like the Eckler call too. That Chargers-Raiders game, that's the game I prefer to target in the afternoon window. It does look like, the Raiders coming in with a little bit of momentum. Josh Jacobs, an absolute stud. So yeah, I'm going to be pretty locked in on these kind of higher tier running backs, which, might force me to punt at the quarterback spot, which, outside of the Fields lineup I want, and then there's a Hurts lineup I'm looking at, I think I'm going to be fine with. But what I want your guys' take on the Jets running back situation, because I have no clue what's going on there. It looks like they could be running out 3 running backs, but it looks like some of these guys are going to get ownership too. So I don't know if you guys have a take on that, but definitely curious to see where you're at with the Jets.
Yeah, I'll let DC give his take here in a second on the Jets. First, Christopher Walls. Listen, guys, we have a challenge. And there's 2 challenges. One, I've challenged you to get to 750, and DC is going to give out his score. That's a very nice reward for very minimal labor. Christopher Walls says y'all are high thinking 750 will reach. So Christopher Walls is doubting the strength of our audience. He's doubting your commitment to RunPureSports. It's very simple. Hit the like button, and we will get rid of Christopher Walls as well, and you'll get the score. As far as the Jets AP, you're absolutely right. Every day this week, Robert Saleh has said it's a full 3-man committee. And you saw last week it was only a 2-man committee after Michael Carter went down with, they call him Bam Knight, I learned. Bam Knight, Zonovan Bam Knight, and Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson gets in the box, Knight gets in the box. Now you add James Robinson, who they're not high on, but when you see that there's going to be maybe 10 to 15% ownership on just one of these guys alone, makes me want to go the other side. Some of these other running back plays that I like. You mentioned Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is probably my number one guy today. Right behind him, same price range, Derrick Henry. Low owned against the Eagles. We saw last week what the Green Bay Packers were able to do against the Eagles on the ground. That is where they're susceptible. And listen, if the Titans make this a game, and many people think that they're not only going to make this a game, but that they have a chance to upset the Eagles, Derrick Henry is going to be heavily involved in that process. So I like him. Going down a little bit, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, both of those guys. And then a sleeper in a game that I said I like to go over. I like quite a bit. The snap count is up. This team, the Falcons, they're still in it. They're still in it. They got a shot. They can't tank because they're right in the middle and they're on the cusp of, perhaps, as disgusting as it is, being in contention for the NFC South title. Cordero Patterson, good play today at 5,800. DC, thoughts on the Jets and any of those running backs that AP or I mentioned?
Yeah, Jets running backs, relatively easy fade for me. I mean, we think it's going to be, it would change, right? If James Robinson is inactive again, then I think Knight comes in play at 4,600, but I assume Robinson will be active. I think all three backs are going to see work. I mean, Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, whatever you want to call him, like, we don't know for sure if he'll be the passing down back. That could be Ty Johnson that kind of swoops in there for those snaps. And we don't know for sure he's going to be the goal line back, right? That could easily be James Robinson that comes in and steals that stuff. So, and, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to play a semi-popular running back whose role and talent level, right? I mean, he's, what was he, a late round draft pick? I mean, too many question marks for me with Zonovan Knight for a player who is going to get at least some ownership. So Jets backfield, I'm not going there. Give me the passing game with the Jets, absolutely, over the run game. Agree with all the stuff you guys said. I think Derrick Henry, a really interesting play here. The Eagles have a great pass defense. The run defense, though, does have some holes in it. I think, both sides of that matchup work, right? You can do Hurts with the passing game, bring it back with Derrick Henry. I don't always love to do that, but I think in this particular situation, that run back does work really well. A couple guys that we haven't talked much about. Ken Walker III, I think, is in a fantastic spot here against a Rams team that has quit. They can't move the ball. I think Seattle's going to have a ton of possessions here. And the Rams have no Aaron Donald, right? Who really hasn't missed much time at all over these last 4, 5, 6 years that he's been obviously dominating for the Rams. So we don't really know what their run defense is going to look like without him in the middle. I assume it's going to take a massive step backward, not only from losing Aaron Donald, but I don't know, if you're like on that Rams defense, right, and your leader sitting out, I mean, who knows if he's even actually hurt. I just think the Rams have kind of quit, and that's a tough spot to be in against a tough runner like Ken Walker. Travis Homer is also ruled out. He was kind of the threat to Ken Walker in the passing game. So now I think Ken Walker becomes like a full 3 down plus goal line type workhorse. DJ Dallas, he's not going to take any of the early down work. And while Homer could take the passing down work, I don't think DJ Dallas is going to take that work from Walker. So I really, really like him at $7K on DraftKings. I think he's $8K or so on FanDuel. And then Samaje Perine, assuming Joe Mixon sits out, saw 80% of the snaps last week for Cincinnati. I was kind of struggling to figure out who I was going to run back my Mahomes stacks with, because you got Jamar Chase coming off a serious lengty injury. You've got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Their prices are up a little bit from playing without Jamar Chase for those weeks. But yeah, Perine's in there as the, every down running back, plus a guy like he was getting some third down work when Joe Mixon was in the lineup. So he's certainly not going to come off the field, if Mahomes and the Chiefs get off to a big lead here. So I see Perine as, assuming, of course, Mixon is out. I mean, I think he'll get 20 plus touches here. I could see him catching 6 or 7 passes. He seems like a high floor, high ceiling type play to me, which is obviously what we're going for. I was hoping to play Brian Robinson. Looked like Gibson might miss early in the week, but it does look like Gibson is going to be in there. If he does end up sitting, though, I do think Robinson, with J.D. McKissic already on IR, would take over kind of the full backfield from Washington. And, if you combine Robinson and Gibson's stats over these last few weeks, it's been a pretty good number each and every week. I could see him having a good day against the Giants, even if Gibson plays, but certainly like him a lot more, obviously, if Gibson does sit.
Hey, real quick, let me cut in just to add in a little stat on the Derrick Henry, because I think we all are on the same page there. We're now in December. It's December 4th. Derrick Henry in December is an actual thing. Just going back to it, December 6th, 2018, 50.8 DK points. That was a 238 rush yard game, 4 TDs. Another one in December, he had 211 rush yards, 3 TDs. Another one, 39.2 DK points, 215 yards, two touchdowns. He's got many monster you're talking like almost double digit 25+ performances in the month of December. I love StatMuse. I don't know if you guys use it, but you can like look up almost anything if you have the keyword search right. But anyways, go check it out. Derrick Henry performances in the month of December. It's incredible. I love that call, DC. I'm going to be on Henry with you.
The Titans ride Henry to the playoffs every single year. Absolutely. DC also like the Ken Walker call. The Hawks 7-point favorites on the road. Don't even think that game is going to be all that close. And of course, the Bengals love Samaje Perine. So definitely can work him in, assuming that Mixon sits. And then our guy, Christopher Walls, he's had a change of heart. He said, maybe I'm just high. Give me the over, run pure to the moon. And then we've got Gregory Mark, who's getting his morning wood worked on and taken care of right now. Listen, that's always the best when you can get the wood taken care of and watch a little entertainment. That's exactly what is going on here. 413, 1,029 watching. For those of you who are new and weren't watching the whole time, welcome. A couple of things. One, Christopher Walls did not think that you were capable of getting the 750 likes. I didn't say it. Wasn't me. It was Christopher Walls. So we get to the 750. I'm feeling a little bit of sympathy. Maybe we won't kick Christopher out, but at least we'll shame him for the rest of the show. And then second, you're going to get DC's core. You're going to get his early core. So especially if you're not a member, but even if you are because you love us, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You'll get notifications when all of our content is going up on YouTube. We're moving over to wide receiver. The popular players here, Amon-Ra St. Brown, can't argue with the matchup. He's 7,100, looking to come in, though, around 30%. Garrett Wilson, popular last week and smashed. He's popular again this week. Zay Jones, probably my least favorite of these plays, is up there. Christian Kirk, who I actually like, and T. Higgins. AP, I'll stay with you at wide receiver. Any of these popular plays interesting to you, or are you getting, to coin a phrase, off the chalk?
I mean, this is where I do think I'm willing to eat a little bit of chalk here. Just Garrett Wilson, absolute stud. You got to love like the connection immediately with Mike White. Obviously last week, phenomenal matchup, which is why I love the Packers and Bears. Just got to keep talking about that game as much as I can. But no, I mean, it's really hard to argue. It feels like almost like last season with Amon-Ra St. Brown, when we just got on him and no one else was on him. A little bit different because everyone's going to be on Garrett Wilson here, but 5,300 at that price tag. I mean, it is kind of like it was different when he was in the 4K range. Like if he gets you like anything under 10, anything under double digits, it's definitely a bust, especially in tournaments. But he's a guy that can absolutely kill you too. 2 touchdown upside. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he has like 100, eventually has like 100-yard plus game, with a touchdown or 2. And then same with Amon-Ra St. Brown, phenomenal matchup. They pepper him with targets. The guy is an absolute stud. We talked about him all last season, all this season. Your boy, some guy named Amon-Ra St. Brown, JT Hayes. So those would be the 2 chalk pieces I would be willing to get to. And then, the Jacksonville situation is a little bit interesting. Obviously, another really good matchup. Zay Jones, cheapish price tag there. Marvin, I mean, man, there's a lot of things. Like you could see Marvin Jones working in the mix too. Christian Kirk, I like that call as well. So I can't sit here and say I'm going to fade any one of those guys. I have them all mixed into my player pool. I guess my stand is I see players like potentially like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, some of these other pieces in the afternoon window getting steamed up. My stance is going to be more so fading those pieces instead of fading some of these chalkier guys. So it's basically like I'm hoping that these guys get steamed up. Like Chase, I could see getting steamed up a little bit, or it being like a scenario where people want because all right, so Joe Burrow going to be one of the highest owned, if not the highest owned quarterback. We all stack. Everyone knows that. That's no secret in the DFS landscape. They're going to pair him with Chase or Higgins. So it's going to increase the ownership on those two guys. So I'm going to find ways off of it, and which is going to require me eating some chalk here. Nico Collins. I mean, this Houston Browns game could be one that's kind of sneaky too. Nico Collins with Brandon Cooks is out, right?
He's out. I'm not sure who's going to be playing quarterback for the Texans, though. That's the biggest challenge with Nico Collins is.
Cooks is out though. Yep.
Cooks is out.
Yeah. So Nico Collins is someone that we could definitely look at, getting to too, as far as cheap guys go. And then, even Treylon Burks, 4,600 Titans Eagles, a game that we like. I know we talked a lot about Derrick Henry, and then on the other side of that game, AJ Brown, 7,800. Just thinking about games where the total seems a little bit too low, but I don't think any of us would be surprised if it just ended up like exploding. And this is one of those spots too. I could see it if you get the right script where Henry is just, running people down and breaks off, one or two of those just monster runs like we see him do in December. Then you get Jalen Hurts on the other side, toss it to AJ Brown. So AJ Brown, 7,800. Definitely one of the higher price receivers that I have a ton of interest in. So while I'm eating some chalk at the receiver position this week, I'm definitely finding ways to get different.
Yeah, and Tennessee dead last on this slate defending the deep pass, deepening the argument for A.J. Brown. Absolutely love him this week. One of my top players on the slate. DC, AP mentioned Jamar Chase. He's coming back. Do you have interest in Jamar Chase? You want to let this play out? You think there's some talk about him being on a snap count, but of course, we know that with 4 or 5 catches, he could get to 150, 160 yards. So you interested in Chase or some of these other popular wide receivers?
Yeah, Chase, I'll be watching any potential news, right? Schefter, Rappaport, to see if he's going to be on a snap count. Reportedly, not from his own words, right? Not dealing with any pain right now, had a full practice. I mean, I don't know, like even if the plan is to keep him somewhat limited, if they get in some sort of shootout with the Chiefs, right, and he's playing well and he's feeling good, it's hard to imagine that they really limit his snaps. So we'll see on Chase. I definitely will have some exposure unless we get, news that he's, if we get news that he's only going to play 40 or 50% of snaps, I'd probably jump off at that price point, but we'll see on that. I want to stick with the Eagles here for a second because I'm with you guys on this Eagles passing game. They lost Dallas Goedert a couple 3 weeks ago. And, for that 1 week, it was like, what was it? Jack Stoll was a chalk play at min price. Calcaterra, people thought it was going to come. Those guys,
hey, be careful. That
I was on Stoll.
I know.
I was on Stoll.
I know. And those guys have combined in the 2 weeks without Dallas Goedert, 2 catches combined, 1 catch each for -4 yards. 2 catches for -4 yards from the tight ends that have replaced Dallas Goedert. We know they don't like to throw to Watkins, really, Pascal. They don't really like throwing to the running backs. Who does that leave? A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, really the only guys they have left to throw the ball to. And, I mean, I'm seeing like 2 to 3% ownership for A.J. Brown, 2 to 5%, something like that for Devonta Smith, 3 to 5% for Jalen Hurts. So you get a super low-owned, super high upside stack with a matchup checks out. I mean, yeah, give me this Eagles passing attack at low ownership. So I did want to mention that. The high-priced wide receivers, the 2 highest-priced guys on the board, arguably, the 2 best receivers in football, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. Reasons to be concerned about both of them. Jefferson has obviously a brutal individual matchup against one of the top young corners in the league in Sauce Gardner, who's a really physical cornerback. I could see some pass interference there. Maybe Dalvin Cook punches it in at the goal line. And then Tyreek Hill, I'm worried about Miami's offense. We haven't talked much about them, but missing both of their starting tackles against Nick Bosa and that pretty ferocious San Francisco front seven. I just don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to have the time, or Tua is going to have the time, to in the pocket for Tyreek Hill to get behind the defense, which is where he does obviously his big damage, right? He's going to get the short stuff over the middle, but at 8,800, you're going to need, I think, most likely a big play out of him. So I'm a little bit lower on Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. Obviously, they're both capable of showing up any week despite the matchup. Devontae Adams, I do like this week. I always seem to get the Adams-Jacobs question wrong, but Jacobs questionable here. If he does end up sitting, I mean, you got to imagine it's going to all run through Devontae Adams. So I do like him at 8,700. I think he'll be a little bit lower owned. I think he's a good option, but I do think there's a bunch of good wide receivers this week, kind of in that 4K range and below. I'll go over a few that I like. For the Chargers, DeAndre Carter, pretty much an every snap guy with Mike Williams out in a shootout game. Perfect matchup against the Raiders. He's interesting at 3,900. Chase Claypool playing without Darnell Mooney, right? They're really down to, they have almost nothing at wide receiver outside of Claypool. I expect him to be a full-time wide receiver at this point. We talked about the Texans. Obviously, their quarterback situation is concerning, but without Brandon Cooks, they're basically down to Nico Collins, 4,200, a talented guy in a game where, Houston's probably going to have to throw the ball in the second half, right? It's not going to be efficient, but there could be a large number of pass attempts, and it's really going to go to two guys. It looks like Nico Collins, one, and then Chris Moore, the other, playing 60% of snaps already, getting, a relatively healthy amount of targets, 3, 6, 7, 5 targets in the last 4 games. Should be elevated to, I think, a 90 to 100% snap share here. With Cooks out, he's got some speed. He can play a little bit. So Chris Moore at 3,200, I really like. And then for the Chiefs, if you need a cheap run back for a Mahomes double with Kelsey, for me, any Mahomes team, I'm playing Kelsey with them. Those two are just so correlated that I'm going to pretty much lock in Kelsey on any teams that I have Mahomes. But I like Sky Moore here. The snap count has been on the rise all year long. I think the two guys that Moore is really competing with for touches are McCole Hardman and then now Kadarius Toney. Both those guys are out for this game. I do think you'll see Sky Moore 50, 60% of snaps, going to be schemed up some touches. He's a talented guy they took in the second round. He's got to have a breakout game at some point here. Hasn't had it yet. I think it's coming for him, and could easily be this week at 3,100. I think I'll be surprised, right, if he doesn't get 6+ targets, 4 or 5 catches. At 3,100, that's, 8, 9 fantasy points right there, I think, almost at a minimum for Sky Moore with upside for a lot more. So I do think if you want to, you can go cheaper at wide receiver this week, spend up at running back, quarterback. I think there's a lot of different ways to build this week. Makes it really fun for tournaments.
Chad is currently peeling to Sky Moore for some reason. You have got them very interested in Sky Moore.
I got a question for you guys. Just you're talking about Sky Moore, cheap receivers. Why aren't we going to DJ Shark over like a Sky Moore?
They got too many. So the Lions have too many guys. Right?
The Chiefs. You can't say wait. Hold on a second.
Yeah, the Chiefs
the
have
Lions
tons
have too
of
many guys, and that the Chiefs don't have too many guys. You look at this offense. First of all, Andy Reid collects running backs like trading cards. They might bring up Melvin Gordon. You don't know who the ball's going to on the Kansas City side. So Jamison Williams, I don't think he's going to play. He's not going to play 100% of the snaps. DJ Shark has been involved, and he's cheap as well.
They have also Josh Reynolds returned from injury. Obviously, Monroe's not going to leave the field. Then they've got Khalil Raymond too. So they got 5 wide receivers who are going to see snaps, I think. One of whom, St. Brown, will play essentially 100% of snaps. So the other 4, I think, are going to play roughly 40 to 50% of snaps each, is how I see the line situation. So that's why I'm a little bit lower on them. But yeah, Chark at, what is he, 3,800, has upside. He would be the guy that I'd be most likely to play. But yeah, that's my concern with the Lions wide receivers, other than St. Brown.
And listen, I'm not advocating for DJ Shark by any means. I'm just saying you're equating the two. I think they're both risks. I think they're both tremendous risks on this slate. And if you get to a point where you're looking and you need multiple of these 3-4K receivers, I think you just start over, because that's not the construction that you want to be at today. For me, wide receiver, I talked about A.J. Brown, DC with you on Devontae Adams. I think this is more of a Raiders passing week than a Josh Jacobs week. And there's two offensive lines that I'm concerned about. One, you mentioned Miami. The other, starting center Corey Linsley is going to miss this game for the Chargers. So that's something to keep in mind there as well. I'm a little bit lower on the Chargers than some other people are this week. Other players, Christian Kirk, I mentioned. Terry McLaurin, I like quite a bit. Yeah. The Giants defense has been not just a run funnel, but pass funnel, but they've just been bad against the pass and the rush, for that matter. A lot of injuries in that secondary. And then I'm going to go back to the game that I like, the game here in Atlanta. Deontay Johnson all the way down to 5,200. I think AJ Terrell is going to focus more on the deep threat, George Pickens, and that's going to leave Deontay Johnson wide open, as well as Pat Freiermuth over the middle all day in this game. And it's been tough. It's been ugly if you've played him this season, but I think this is a game that goes over. And Drake London at 4,700, he gets 7 to 8 targets against this Pittsburgh defense, and I think that he could get over 20 fantasy points. So those are some of the guys that are going to comprise a lot of my player pool. We will move on here just about 20 more minutes, maybe.
I mean, JT Hayes, real quick.
Yes.
I mean, you've been off of the Falcons all season long. So I got to just, make this clear so we're going to all understand. Yeah. Falcons guy, Atlanta guy, you've been off them. You make fun of me. Now you're on them. I might have to get on them. If you're on them, I'm on them. Drake London, sign me up. Yeah, I had him as a full fade. I got the heat map up right now. I'm changing that just for you, JT Hayes.
Yeah, it's the environment, AP, right? And I think this is,
What about Cordell Patterson? Real quick, go back to you playing him. He's a guy that can just absolutely break a slate in the right script. So
5,800, snap count is up. The rush is going to get into the backfield here for Pittsburgh, and I think that means dump offs to Patterson, could mean some dump offs to Drake London. So 5,800 with that snap count rising. Looks like he's healthy once again. And again, this team is in the mix. I mean, it's disgusting, but they're in the mix. So
I gotta say, JT calling me out on my Sky Moore call. Drake London, way worse call than Sky Moore. 4,700.
Drake London is going to make Sky Moore his bitch.
What has Drake London done, man? This dude never does jack squat. But they don't throw the ball. Just a
he's got to be on the field. He's got to be on the field.
Yeah, he's on the field every week and never does anything.
That's fine. He will this week. Sky Moore, come on, give me a break.
I don't even need the point per dollar. Give me Sky Moore straight up over Drake London all day.
Here we another.
I mean, look at the other receivers that I know it's more of a Marcus.
We're talking about. So look, you're talking. This is head scratching. It's a number one wide receiver for under 5K against a guy who fucking Andy Reid pulls out for like 6 plays a game. Come on. What are you talking about? I love that. Listen, what I said this in chat in our own Discord last week, jokingly, what body part will you amputate if Drake London gets more than 20 fantasy points?
Any part you want, man. It's not going to happen.
Don't leave it up to me.
Do you say more than 20? I was going to say he just has to beat Sky Moore. He's not getting 20 fantasy points.
You know what this reminds me of, DC? This reminds me of it's going to be like 1:45 today. I'm actually going to be at the Falcons game, and I'm going to see.
Okay, so that's why you're on Drake London. Now everybody knows. Okay,
I'm going to see. No. I go to these games all the time and play no one. But I'm going to see the ball slide into London's hands. He's going to sprinkle into the end zone, and it's going to feel just like when Matty Chapman hit that bomb off of Shane McClanahan. It's going to feel exactly the same way. I can't wait. Guys, 20 minutes left. You're up in the 500 range. We need to get to 750 to get DC's score, which is going to happen.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button if you think Sky Moore outscores Drake London. There we go. We'll be at 750.
You don't want to go negative on the likes. You don't want to go in the opposite direction. DC's going to give you his score now that he's talking about Mahomes, Kelsey, and Sky Moore. I don't know if you all are going to want it, but that's what's going to happen if we get to 750 likes. Drake London versus Sky Moore. This is. My God, I love betting with DC. All right, we are Moving on to tight end here, the more popular tight ends, we've got David Njoku, Pat Fryermuth, who I mentioned, Travis Kelce, of course, Hayden Hurst in that Cincinnati-Kansas City game. DC, I'll stay with you. What are you looking at outside of Travis Kelce here?
Yeah, Travis Kelce, I think, is just like the best play in DFS pretty much every week. One way you can kind of almost see that, if you go Underdog Fantasy, anyone that plays over there, really cool platform, they have like a battle royale, it's called, each week. So it's like 6 people, you get 6 draft picks, and you can, start anywhere. You got to get a quarterback, tight end, running back, usual 6 players. The number 1 pick this week and pretty much every week in that format is Travis Kelce, right? And the reason is the position scarcity. He just smashed, like when he has a good game, you're up like 20 fantasy points oftentimes on the next, reasonably popular tight end. So yeah, Travis Kelce, I just think he's a total smash play, especially on FanDuel, where the cheap tight ends aren't that cheap, right? The cheap tight ends on FanDuel are like $5 to $6K. And so the difference between Kelce and those guys is less. So yeah, I'll have as much Travis Kelce as I can get. I'm seeing 10 to 15% ownership on him on DraftKings, which I think is just completely absurd. So a ton of Kelce for me. I do think this is, in general, though, a really good week to spend at tight end. I think you can go double tight end with Kelce. And then I like Hawkinson, who has been targeted heavily by Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we talked about the tough matchup for Justin Jefferson on the outside, and a good Jets pass rush, right? So we could see Hawkinson. It wouldn't shock me to see him get double-digit targets. Obviously, he's a talented dude. Could see him with a big game. And George Kittle in a potential shootout with Miami. You never know when he's going to be involved or when he's going to show up, but you just can't find that type of upside at 5K, right? A guy who can really go 20, 25 plus fantasy points. Kittle, I don't think the talent really has declined at all. It's just, obviously, you never know if he's going to be super involved in the game plan. But I really do like those 3 guys, Kelce, Hawkinson, Kittle, even Mark Andrews. I do think the big game's coming for him. Dropped an easy touchdown pass last week. We haven't seen it in a while. And the Denver defense is tough, but Andrews, I still think will have a strong finish to the season. So I'll be spending for the most part at tight end where I can. A couple cheaper guys that I like, Tyler Conklin for the Jets. You talked a little bit about the Jets passing attack. They started out really, really hot in that game, but didn't really need to go to it much in the second half. And also the weather turned super, super bad. So they just kind of leaned on the rush, kind of, bled the game out a little bit. But this one against Minnesota, a potential shootout. It's hard to know if Mike White will come back and look good again, but he certainly could. And Conklin, a talented player, did play in Minnesota. So a little bit of a revenge factor if you want to factor that in at all. Hayden Hurst, I think, is fine. Evan Engram, I think, is a good way to go. So a few good cheaper tight ends, but I do really like the top end here, obviously led by Travis Kelce.
Yeah, the game got away from the Jets in terms of, the Bears being competitive last week. Yep. So really no need to push that, even though both Wilson and Elijah Moore get there in relatively like 3 quarters. You mentioned AP, DC talked about Kelce, talked about George Kittle. Deebo Samuel is going to play. It seems like he may still be a little bit banged up. The challenge with San Francisco is, who gets the ball, who gets the action on this team. Miami is one of the worst against the tight ends. The question that I've been having with George Kittle is, what does an upside game from George Kittle look like in this offense, in this environment, one where I'm actually concerned about Miami's ability to put points on the board here, believe it or not, this week. And then TJ Hawkinson, second most targeted tight end over the last 5 weeks. AP, no Kyle Pitts this week. Where are you looking at tight end?
Yeah, I gotta talk about my guy, Travis Kelce, here first. It's a thing we talk about. Like DC said, what's the opportunity cost of not playing or not finding a way to pay up for Kelce? The guy can absolutely separate at that position, especially on a slate like this. So like the reason why, I said I'm under on this game, not from a watching standpoint, fan standpoint, more so from seeing like an eruption, like back and forth scoring type of environment. I think we see like a battle here, and in a competitive game where Mahomes has to go to his reliable guy and Travis Kelce, that's where we want to play him. I mean, look at the last game against the Chargers, where Kansas City was trailing 10 targets, put up 38 DK points on 6 receptions, ton of touchdowns. Same thing with same thing against the Bills. 10 targets. I mean, he didn't even get in the box. 8 receptions, 108 yards. In that very competitive game where the defenses showed up. So in these spots where you get a very competitive environment, that's where Kelce has his best games. And I see that's what I see happening here. So how I'm playing that, I'm not on Mahomes 8,300 tag. I'm just going elsewhere, getting leverage there.
How you pouring cold water on the Mahomes stacks?
Okay. I could get on Mahomes just for you. I you know me. Like, who are we kidding? I'm gonna have a Mahomes team. Like, when haven't I had a Mahomes team when he's on the main slate? So yeah. Let me backtrack just a little bit. But no, I do want to find a way to get overweight Kelce, because like I'm showing like Harrison Bryant like being a popular play just because like Deshaun Watson's back. I mean, yeah, he's 2,700. I'm a fan of cheap tight ends like everyone else is, but Harrison Bryant could get you, one catch for 13 yards. I mean, that's in the realm of possibilities with a guy like that. And if Kelce like has a monster game, goes off for multiple touchdowns, you're absolutely going to separate at the position. George Kittle, I don't know. I think at that price tag, I'd rather go Hawkinson. I like that call from DC, especially just when you consider the matchups there. Tougher one on Jefferson. One thing that we talked about could open things up for Thielen or Hawkinson. So I like that call. But man, I got to find ways to get Kelce into my lineups. That's where I'm going to be. That's going to be my main stand on that game. So like how I see it, I'm going to be heavily exposed to the early window. And I'm not going to have as many pieces in this late window, but I'm going to have a ton of Travis Kelce. So that's where I'm going to be at. Just trying to see if there's any other cheap, like, are there any other cheap absolute punt, like 2 point whatever K that aren't named Harrison Bryant that you guys are looking at?
Jack Stoll?
No. No.
I'll tell you that the 4th most targeted tight end over the last 5 weeks is just 3,600. Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
So that's one where you could go to pay down. I mean, the thing with Kelce here is you get 40. He is the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver, right? He's going to get 10 plus targets in this game, probably more than that. So I can't argue with paying that price. It just makes you have to get a little bit more creative at other spots.
Yeah, I would personally take Travis Kelce over any other running back, wide receiver, tight end, right? For me, the number 1 guy in this entire slate, and he plays by far the worst position. It's just seems like kind of a no-brainer to me personally.
He also got Pat Mahomes on his podcast this week, so he got a little extra narrative there. Did you guys see that?
I watched it.
Kelce, it's a good podcast. Yeah. Very entertaining.
How much Chiefs content do you consume a week? I'll ask both of you because obviously.
To be honest, I consume a ton of NBA content in relation to this, but as far as NFL goes, a lot of Chiefs content.
I'm on with the president and co-president of the Chiefs fan club this morning, so we've got some love. The pricing is tough in that late window, guys. We got about 5 more minutes left. We're only at 568. You're not going to get DC's core. You're proving Christopher Wall's right, which is terrible. 1,372 watching. We should be easily able to get to 750. This is a disappointment. DC, EC,
I got a real strong core here. I got the winners, so you might want to get to 750. I'll just say that.
You want to get to 750 because we need to know who else is going to go with Mahomes, Kelce, and Sky Moore in that beautiful DC core. DC, you mentioned the injuries to the Miami offensive line. Makes me a little bit interested, perhaps, in a very, very low-owned San Francisco 49ers defense. We have seen what they've been doing to opposing offenses at home in particular. Where are you looking at on the defensive side of the ball?
I love to see you redeem yourself after the Drake London take with the best defensive play on the slate. I'm with you. 49ers, man. They've been awesome at home. Great pass rush. And I mean, I know, Mike McDaniel maybe going to scheme up some good stuff. I do believe in him, obviously, as an offensive coach for the Dolphins, but just tough, man. When you're missing your 2 tackles, right? You get backups in there against a great pass rush on a team that takes the most deep shots down the field. And, maybe this will come into play, maybe not. But the 49ers coaching staff and their defense should be more prepared for this offense than any other defense in the league, right? Considering the offense came directly from San Francisco. So that could play into it. So I am big on this 49ers defense at 3,100. A couple others I like. Do you like the Jets against my Vikings? I'm a believer in that defense, 2,600. Kirk Cousins did pull it out against the Patriots, but he does typically kind of wilt under pressure. I just think this is a pretty bad matchup for the Vikings in general. So I do like that Jets defense. And then I am willing to spend all the way up for the Ravens, who have played excellent defense in the second half of this year. I mean, you can't run on the Ravens for one, and the Broncos can't run the ball anyway. So you're telling me Russell Wilson's going to have to drop back and throw it, 40 plus times probably in this game? They have looked awful, that Broncos passing offense. On the road here against Baltimore, I could see Baltimore teeing off on this Denver offense.
Yeah, Baltimore, an interesting, although pricey. The other one, although they haven't been very good, and they're priced a little bit too high for my liking, is Cleveland at 3,900. And then the Seahawks, 3,600. Yeah. Really good matchup against these Los Angeles Rams. What's left of the Los Angeles Rams? AP, where are you looking at? And let's see if these people can get us to 750 so we can give out DC's score.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to be playing the Titans. It looks like they're getting some ownership, probably just a price thing, 2,200. The Jet, man, I've been on the Jet. Like, that's where I'll agree with DC. Jets, been on them for quite some time. I really love that defense, love what they're doing there. But again, like I can't remember who it was. I think maybe it was JT Hayes. Love the Raiders. I think he had a Raiders call, like see them potentially winning here, a rivalry game. One thing, like if you look at the season as a whole, especially early on in the season, this Raiders defense has struggled to get, constant pressure on the quarterback or get sacks. They've gotten pressure and everything. But I thought that was going to be a strong point for this defense. We've started to see it, man. I think they've had back-to-back, like 3 or 4 sacks in the last 2 games. So you're starting to see, them come alive just a little bit. I do worry because their defense kind of sucks. But, man, it's, interconference rivalry game, Chargers, Raiders, Justin Herbert, just, gosh, I mean, man, like the one, I mean, it's not all on Herbert. This team just, struggles with injuries and everything. So I don't want to put it on Herbert. I think Herbert is a phenomenal talent. I've been playing him each and every week, and he kind of tilts you at times, even though he got there last week. But the Raiders, 2,500 in a script where if you compare them with Josh Jacobs too, but if they take control of this game, I kind of like them to win, and I like this game to fall under the total, and I could see them piling up some sacks, on Justin Herbert. And then at like the fourth quarter, he's really struggled. So while like the Raiders aren't a team that's given up or that's been able to, get turnovers, could be a spot, maybe it goes their way this game. Because Justin Herbert in the fourth quarter, man, it just seems like he hasn't, or this offense at all hasn't been as sharp. So I do like the Raiders here. I like the Jets. I like the 49ers. I'll keep it very simple at the defensive position this week.
Yeah, Jets, 49ers. I think the Raiders are interesting. I'm just lower on the Chargers. So
what about the Commanders? That's another one I was looking at. So I had that down in my notes. Their defenses look pretty good of late.
They're what, 2,600, I think.
They're 33, but
3,300.
I like that call.
Okay. Yeah. The reason, I mean, I want to see if I get up to the Niners, because I just have that feeling, this team going to the West Coast with the injuries, how good San Francisco has been. And these two teams know each other, right? The coaching staffs all know each other. I think there's going to be some competition.
How about that Steelers defense? I mean, Atlanta has no weapons.
Yeah, I'm not. In fact, we'll do that. 681. If we get to 750 in the next 6 minutes, DC is giving.
Come on, people, get there. Hit the like button.
Not just his play of the day, his core. AP, we'll start with you. What is the gentleman's play of the day?
Yeah, that is a good call. Starting with me. How about, I got an idea since we have a few more minutes. How about we start with DC? We don't need to give the people any more time.
Yeah, my play of the day is an easy one. If you watch the show, going to absolutely smash Drake London in the head-to-head. Sky Moore, breakout game for the Chiefs, 3,100 with the best quarterback in the NFL, role-growing, talented dude, and going to ship for us today. So Sky Moore, 3,100. You got one play in the possible DC core if you can get back home those 50 likes in the next couple of minutes and get the other 4 guys. But Sky Moore going to be in there as a DC play of the day.
Right. Sky Moore.
All right. I'm good now. I got my notes all
AP,
just for you, JT.
The gentleman's play of the day. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go. Dusty Aaron Rodgers against the Bears, owns the Bears. Stack him with Christian Watson. So there you go. You get my primary stack of the day: Aaron Rodgers to Christian Watson.
Before DC gives his score, because he is going to give it because we're at
don't say Drake London, JT. We need at least one good player in the plays of the day here.
We're at 710.
That is true.
We're at 710, climbing to 750, and all week I was pretty set. On one of these 2 guys. The first is not the play of the day, although I think he's going to do really well. That's AJ Brown. The second is not Drake London, but I just put him in my core. Because it's got to be in there. And it's correlated with my play of the day. My play of the day, every week I've been doing this. Last week, really good, picked out the cheap stack that went off. Last week, if you weren't watching, it was Mike White to Garrett Wilson. People told me that I was crazy. Someone in chat said, as a matter of fact, this is something I wanted to talk about. Someone said in chat, because I said I wasn't playing Joe Burrow last week. I said I wasn't playing Joe Burrow. They said, "Oh, you can't listen to this guy. He says you're not." He says he's not playing Joe Burrow, but then he says you can play Mike White. Well, if you played Mike White over Joe Burrow last week, you did pretty fucking well. And this week, it's Kenny Pickett. It's Kenny Pickett. It's a 3-man or even a 4-man stack for under 20K against this Falcons defense. It's a short week. We don't like the running backs on the short week. 5,100. Kenny Pickett. Pair him up with DJ. DC. We are going to your core for the people.
So you said Kenny Pickett, and then you said 5,100. Did you mean George Pickens, or did you mean Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. All right. Well, now we have 0 good plays in the plays of the day, but that's all right. That's all right. We'll make it up for here with the core here. You already know Sky Moore in the DC core. He is going to be joined by these 4 absolute studs. Obviously, you got Sky Moore. You got to get the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Mahomes in there, 8,300. He's expensive, but we got the cheap Sky Moore to pair him with. You, of course, have Travis Kelce, a lock for 20-plus fantasy points today. He's going to go off, will be the top-scoring tight end. And then 2 of my favorite running backs on the slate, one of which I think is the best run back for the Mahomes stacks, assuming Joe Mixon is out, which I think he will be. Samaje Perine going to be out there every snap for the Bengals. I think he'll catch a bunch of passes. You can run on the Chiefs a little bit. I bet he gets in the box, has a good game at 6K. And then also in the afternoon slate, we will go to Mr. Ken Walker III, facing a Rams team that has quit, missing their best defender in Aaron Donald. And also the Seahawks are without Travis Homer. I think Ken Walker going to be out there essentially every snap for the Seahawks. So you have it Mahomes with the double stack Sky Moore, Travis Kelce, the Samaje Perine run back on the Bengals, and Ken Walker III filling out the DC core.
There you go. There you go. The vaunted DC core, which includes, for some reason, Sky Moore. You have to love it. Can't wait for the games to start. For AP, for DC, for Simon behind the scenes. Simon, get us out of here.
What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. We're coming off of Thanksgiving, and our members and experts had a ton to be thankful for last week. Let's get to the winners. In the NBA streets, Ash Frank NFL won $1,500. NYG fan used AP's heat map to win $1,800. D-Rex26 hit for $4,500, and new subscriber Tom hit for $15K. Fur PBC shipped for $33K, while the Man 11 had yet another huge payday, shipping for $100,000. RPS continues to dominate all sports, including World Cup soccer. Our team has been crushing it with the content, and we have the receipts to prove it. Go Boys 18 hit for $1K. New member Wes Ray won over $1,300. Jaime's content helped Poker Pastor get through a tough time, hitting for $2K. Big T won over $20K. Rubio's hard work grinding out soccer content paid off with a $20K shipper, while the biggest winner was RPS member Eddie, who turned $500 into over $30,000. Our NFL content has been on fire all season, and we didn't let the Thanksgiving holiday slow us down. We have plenty of free content available on our YouTube channel daily, so make sure to subscribe right now to access the winners. DK for 5 hit big on Thanksgiving, winning $10K. C Jacobs 986 joined him, shipping for $15K. On the main slate, Racing Jason 910 hit for over $6K. LT Dog 24 shipped for $50K, while my own heater continued, winning my first FFWCC. For Showdown, our guy Hoop was a big winner, shipping for over $100K across sites. He used his core plays laid out for our premium members, including a low-owned Jelani Woods, who ended up breaking the slate. Shout out to YGuy223, who won over $9K as well. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What is going on? Happy Sunday and welcome to the Morning Wood over here on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain. I am joined as I am every single Sunday. We got Big T. We got Hoop. Before I get to them, guys, though, look, we're just going to hit this at the top, okay? We need that like. We need that subscribe button. We're trying to get to a certain number. I'm going to let Hoop tell us in a little bit what number we're trying to get to, but click that like button, click that subscribe button. It helps us out, and we are here to help you out. We got Hoop, we got Big T. I'm Eric. Hoop, we're going to start it out with you, buddy, because I wanted to make sure I said congratulations. It's a big week for you, man.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Hit the showdown slate on Monday, and
wait, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Because that's all. That's
the soccer team lost.
Fuck
Congratulations.
That. Yeah. I mean, that was obvious. That was definitely going to happen. I mean, your boy called it. The Iranians didn't get the job done for me, but the what do you call them? What's the term for the Netherlands?
The Dutch.
There you go. The Dutch got it done and ended the misery. And some people are soccer fans. I get it, but man, these once every 4-year people are tough to endure. But they're gone now. But I thought you were going to talk about the DFS success instead. That your boy's starting to heat up a little bit, and I think it's going to hit the climax today, if you will.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we're hitting the climax on the Morning Wood. Big T, it's the climax coming for you too.
It's always good when you climax. I know that.
Yes, sir.
True.
Yes, sir. It is.
It's a good point. That is a really good point.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, so no, we got a fun little slate today, though. We finally got a full slate. It's not like, it's not like it was with Thanksgiving where you got like 9 games or something. We got the full 12 gamer. And Tony, how you feeling about the slate?
Like it. We got some good games too. A lot of premier matchups in the afternoon again, which I always like when there's good games in the afternoon. I hate the slates where there's like 2 afternoon games and there's not all that much, and I don't know. I like these ones where you got a bunch of options. You can still play morning guys too, but it lets you spread it around. A lot of high upside guys. We got big boy quarterbacks back on the slate. I don't know. I feel good about this slate.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be a good one, and of course, it's going to be a good one even more so. If you click that like button, click that subscribe button, it helps us out over here at Run Pure Sports. So if you're watching, if you're not doing anything, we're going to be here. Oh, go ahead, Hoop. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, I was hating on the soccer. I was not hating on the Run Pure soccer content because those guys crushed it all the way through. Some big hits all the way through. I think Tony had another big hit.
It's not over, but we got more
so far.
Go.
I mean, but a lot of the fans are going to drop off now because USA is out of it. But I'm saying so far they've done a phenomenal job. Rubio's crushed. He had a big day. No, you've hit a couple slates.
These guys are freaking smashed, man.
Yeah.
Rubio is like almost. People don't realize it out there. That's how I met Rubio and Kay Fallick and Bruce. Like 4, 5, 6 people we met back in I think even Crain was it. Didn't I get you in that chat, Crain, back in the day, the soccer chat?
I think guys? I was. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
All those guys, though, that's how I met all these guys, was a freaking World Cup soccer chat, like probably, I guess 4 years ago, right? 4 or 8 years ago.
I think that would have been 8 years ago, man.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it was, these dudes crush. I mean, Jaime's in there. Rubio's freaking shipped almost every day. I shipped a few times, but I mean, it's fun. I like the morning action, and these guys. That's the advantage with what we got, though. All sports, one price. You sign up for the football, but you wake up tomorrow morning, Monday morning, we got World Cup winners in there. So hop in when you go to your job. Maybe you pick some winners while you're at the water cooler.
You sign up for the football, you stay for the
football. I like that one. Stay for the football.
This is his help. This is his help.
I mean, I was throwing a little bone to the soccer team, and we didn't need to elaborate. Like we can.
Seriously, yes. I make fun of Rubio a lot. I've given him a lot of shit. That man for the last 2 weeks has absolutely smashed.
Yeah, definitely solid.
You know, it's funny. It was about a year ago that I actually texted Tony. And by the way, guys, here before I tell this story, real quick. Right now, this is when I need you to click that like. So click that like button right now. We're going for 1,400 likes today. Hoop, I need you to keep track for me. So we're shooting for 1,400 likes today if you want the plays of the day. So go ahead, click that like button. It helps us out quite a bit.
You ever have like a website where you like know that you have the right password, and like every time you put it in, it like shows up as wrong and it just tilts the fuck out of you? Like
you gotta click the I forgot my password.
Yeah, I know.
Then it's more tilting though. Yeah. Then you go in and you change it. Oh, you've had that one in the last 3 months, and you gotta freaking come up with another one. And
you forgot the right password, but it's just so damn tilting. Damn it. And it's like an old man problem too. Like, the wife, Mrs. Hoops, texted and said, you need more medicine. So, get a request a refill. So I'm trying to get this refill in real quick. Well, man, Hoop doesn't have those sort of problems. I can promise you that those are not on the list of problems that Hoop has.
It doesn't require a password. Good old fashioned pen and paper, baby.
Look at that. No, you even got the spiral. Is that what they're called? The spiral notebook.
It's almost done, man. I only got like 8 pages left.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. I got a little bit bigger size.
I don't go spiral.
We got 3 different sizes. Crain with the little guy, Hoop the medium, and I guess Big T's got the full size over there.
You guys know me. I like a narrow player pool. I don't need a big size. I only need a few guys in my lineup, and I will be good. We're also going to be good, of course, as you guys have been talking about, crushing all the content, the basketball, the soccer, the football. We're doing it all. I was telling the story that it was about a year ago that I texted Tony because I was starting to get back into DFS soccer, and I knew he had Rubio and I knew he had Jaime in there, and I knew those were 2 of the absolute best. So I texted Tony. I'm like, hey, I need to run pure password. I need to get in on the run pure. And he ships me the info. I think he said what Crain wants, Crain gets. And
I think that's exactly what I said too.
Yeah, that sounds like what it sounds like.
I think that was my exact text back.
And that day I played like a showdown slate and won $5,000. I'm texting Tony, like, you guys serious right now? This is great. It was good times. Good times over in Crainville. I'll tell you that. All right, let's go ahead.
Are we still talking about soccer somehow?
We're talking about winners, Hoop. It's the day of winners.
Yeah,
I have it written down.
I'll tell you one thing though, where I'm joining with Hoop in the chat. Our boy Barrick in the live show chat, CBB winners too. I'm with Hoop until March. In March, I'm on the CBB train, but we're not talking about college basketball winners in December.
Yeah, you said that, Hoop. Very top of my list of things to do today. Wish Hoop congrats on USA loss. That is very top of my notebook. So, yeah, we were talking soccer, baby.
Oh, good time.
All right, let's talk about this NFL slate. We got a good one. We got 12 full games, and this is one of those slates, guys, where if you're winning money early on, you're not going to feel that good because a lot of money's going to be made later in the lineups or later in the slate. We're going to be talking about the later games, of course, later, but let's go ahead and kick it off with the Steelers at the Falcons, a 42.5-point favorite, or 42.5-point total. Woo. Atlanta, 1-point favorite at home. Not a lot to love in this game, Hoop. I can't imagine you're going to anybody here. What do you think?
Freiermuth, I guess. Don't necessarily love him. I mean, this is probably, in terms of just finding fantasy options, my least favorite game on the slate. I mean, it was looking like we were going to get a cheap running back with Najee Harris potentially out. Well, he's going to play. They got Jalen Warren, and then Benny Snell actually looked decent. I know Big T was taking a few shots at him, rightfully so. I mean, he looked slow as shit. But now they have potentially 3 guys there. Haven't been playing these pass catchers, though. Kenny Pickett did look good, I'll say, on what was it, Monday night?
He looked real good.
I think Kenny Pickett's good. Legit,
yeah.
I think he's good.
Yeah, long term, I think
he's
I think he's going to be solid. But for DFS this week, no, Freiermuth. I just don't get the Drake London people. Like the dude just, maybe it's not him, but the team offensively is not fun for DFS. Yeah, it's just going to be Freiermuth for me. Maybe a little bit of Deontay Johnson. I know, you guys will probably both hate that, and it's not like
Deontay is so bad.
yeah. I mean, he looked good at the start of that game, but it's Freiermuth and maybe a little Deontay, but this game sucks.
Deontay is a on-brand play though for the Hoops receiver.
I just can't. Those high volume guys. I just can't. I can't
shit on Drake London though. Look at I just pulled up Deontay's box score.
8 targets last week. He did all that in the first quarter too. He was looking to have a big game. He was looking to have a big boy game.
9, 6, 10, 8. 9. He hasn't got all. God, he's been.
The price is lower. The price. I mean, again, it's not. I have them in. Let's put it like
Crain,
this.
Where's our notes from last week? How did we do? Did we get made fun of about anything, or did we?
No, all my unplayables were unplayable. Crain knows it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why it was silence. I was wondering why it was so.
All the unplayables were indeed unplayable. I'll get some more. Do you want to label Deontay? You could hit your first one right here.
These are usually the guys I labeled. The only reason I'm not going to is because I might play a tiny bit of Pickett, and if I do, I could possibly play.
There we go.
I just every week on the show, I've gone against Atlanta's passing game literally every week, so I'm at least going to have a little of Pittsburgh's passing game, especially after they look good. I don't know. The problem with Atlanta is just the style they play. They're so slow. They run. The clock runs. But I don't know. I like the prices on Pittsburgh, though. Pickett's only – and again, I'm probably going to spend up at quarterback because of some of the afternoon stuff. But if I go cheap, it would probably want to be in the morning and play a guy like Pickett. Maybe you post a score and then play position players in the later games from those guys. So I don't know, 5,200 for Pickett, 5,100 for Pickens. I don't know. I can get behind that.
Just play Jared Goff instead. It'll be a lot more enjoyable. It'll be a lot more enjoyable.
That does not sound enjoyable.
It'll be a lot more enjoyable if you play Goff.
We got spicy Hoop on this Sunday morning. I like it. No interest in Najee Harris is going to get 20 carries against the bad run defense. Really?
They're going to
play
one
that gave me. I said this the 1 week, Crain. You gave me the good advice not to play him with Jalen Warren's in there. Now you can't go back on it when you give good advice.
I mean, he might get 20 carries in this game.
No, what? No,
man.
He had 20
receivers.
Carries.
Crain, you got to stay in your lane. I'm inspiring you, not running back.
Just play your guy ETN at running back.
Yeah,
Don't worry about dudes like Najee.
No,
you were right, dude. You're the master. Najee. You are the master of being 100% on the right take. And then all of a sudden, flipping it for no fucking reason. You play ETN all season long. No one played him. The dude smashes. And then the first week that people are out, no, fuck it, I'm out.
All right, okay. No, I'm on ETN.
Playing Najee. Get out of here.
I don't think it's the craziest play. I really don't.
Yeah,
you guys.
You're not playing him.
All right. You know what? Okay.
He's not getting the the tag.
I'm
He's not
giving
getting the
it.
tag.
I'll go ahead
there
and
it
give
is. There's the first.
Najee, put him on my list. Najee is not getting there. He can be on my list for sure.
I'm gonna have to write all this. I'm getting the Najee WTF from DC. I get to come on.
I mean,
Crain,
Najee is so.
This is. You know what he reminds me of a little bit? That Gus Edwards week.
No.
Or he's got to fall into the end zone twice, and I'm going to have to find a gift.
He's going to fall in the end zone twice and still not be on the winner. That's how bad he is.
That's possible. All right.
Yeah,
I'm putting him on the notepad. Najee's going on.
I want him on my notepad. I want that for
on the notepad, as in now you're playing him, or
no,
I don't. I'm just saying you guys haven't talked me.
I'm saying for Crain. Why is Najee going on Crain's notepad? Because you are going to continue on and play him and prove us wrong and show up next Sunday, puffing the chest, or because now you're like,
we take stands now. Are you playing him?
Dude, we're one game into the slate. I don't know if
take stands here, Crain.
All your player pool has to be established at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Come on now. No change it.
All right, let's talk Washington and the Giants. 40.5 point total. Washington 1.5 point favorites on the road. I guess are we still waiting on Antonio Gibson news?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything.
I think he's in, but I don't know.
If he's in that, okay, that makes things easier. Terry McLaurin is still too cheap in this spot. Tony, what do you think about this one?
McLaurin, I just keep playing him, and I almost feel in its own way like Robbie Anderson last year for Hoop, where I play this freaking McLaurin every week, and he just never does anything for me. So frustrating. He still is cheap. You can definitely go to him. This is a game I just don't love. Washington is playing really good football. The style they play, though, just doesn't lead to that many exciting games. They're going to play slow. They're not going to score a ton of touchdowns. They play pretty good defense. Saquon's overpriced the other way. I just don't see anything in this game outside. Is that good dude from Washington back this week, the D lineman?
Well, Chase Young or something?
Yeah, is that dude back?
They said, I believe that they expect him to play, but they said they're on bye next week or something, so they said he could get 2 weeks. So I don't know. It sounded a little bit iffy.
Yeah, either way, I like Washington's D. Obviously, if he's in there, it would make it a little bit better. What are they, 3,300? Yeah, I like them for sure against Danny Dimes, but I don't love this game. McLaurin, if you want, D, nothing else.
We have one guy in the chat. Chase is going to warm up, and then another he's out. So apparently he's unlikely to play.
And with the bye, you would think they just sit him another week.
Yeah, they're on bye next week.
Yeah. Crain says Crain
is on this show.
Crain is downing 16 types of energy drinks. I cannot argue with that.
Are you coming to own Crain, Holden?
Not at all. I just
every week Hoop battles for you to take Crain's place. Are we?
I don't want Crain. I gotta go to work here in a couple minutes. All I'm saying is you guys need some fucking energy. First of all, Crain, what'd you do last night? What's the matter with you? Drink some coffee. Hoop, wake the fuck up.
Holden, you got to hear what Crain actually did last night. It
was a wild night, man. Wild night.
What'd you do?
He said it was a wild night.
I went to the lights parade with my kid in 25-degree weather.
And some Culvers. Don't forget the Culvers.
And we had some Culvers. Yeah, it was good time.
You know what? That sounds like a great night, actually.
Thank you. Thank you.
Crain?
Yeah.
I like that.
You got the pumpkin patch guy defending. You should feel real good about yourself.
I think it's great. I would have done the same thing. Yesterday I took my kids to a Christmas festival. So yeah, we had a great time. Anyways, enough of this. Crain is right, but you definitely need to bring the energy. I just want to see the chat after I'm off, either say that I gave it herpes or they're happy to see me.
I'm sure the people are going to be thrilled to see you, Holden. They're going to be excited to have you back here.
I don't know about that. And then Jamal Agnew. What do you think, Crain? Better than Nico Collins or worse than Nico Collins today?
Worse than
Seriously,
Nico Collins.
Just came in to talk about Jamal Agnew and Nico.
What team is he on?
He's on the Jaguars, and you like Trevor Lawrence, I bet.
Yeah, that's true. I do really like Mr. Lawrence.
Are you coming in to give a take? Because we got notepads on this show. Yeah. Is Agnew one on your notepad?
No, I just want to come in and tell you guys that you suck, and you need to give some fucking energy, Tony. It's you. It's actually on you. It's not even on Crain or Hoop.
Yeah,
you are the leader.
How's it
you
on
are
me?
The face of RPS. You need to wake up, bro. Let's go. Give a winner. And Crain's winner is Nico Collins, by the way. He shouted me down for Nico Collins on the news dump.
You like Nico?
I like Nico. Yeah.
All right. I mean, in defense of the crew here, Holden,
my sheet when we get to that game.
Yeah, in defense of the crew here, I mean, we did have to talk about Pittsburgh, Atlanta, and then Washington and the Giants just to start things out here.
Well, it's not going to get much better if we're on freaking Nico.
We got Packers and Bears next. It ain't getting much better.
Do we get the Holden play of the day? I mean, it's done well.
I mean, Quez Watkins is my play of the day, by the way.
Oh, fuck. Man.
Oh, man. Okay. Jeez. I'm not even writing that down.
We need to restart the show.
Yeah, you do. You know why? Because you came in there with low energy, Tony. You knock me all the time. If I have a low energy start, you come after me. You need a poker up your ass.
Let your ass on here? How do I get
I don't know, but I'm going to leave now, and I'm going to leave it with this, Tony. You better show some more energy.
He's too busy. He's too busy peeling to the soccer over his right shoulder.
You got it on right here.
I don't blame you.
I know you do.
In, baby.
I know you do.
Mbappe.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I'm going to leave now, but you guys needed this.
It was good seeing you, Holden. It was good seeing you. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Miss you, buddy.
Can't wait to ship with your core today. It'll be good.
Yeah. It's been doing well.
All right, Crain. It's up to you, buddy.
Yes, sir. I'll see you.
Have a good night at the pumpkin patch too.
Always.
The frozen pumpkins. Yeah, the hair was looking rough. Uncle T did nail that. He said hair looks brutal for Holden. Yeah, we got him pre-show hair.
How much time do you think Holden spends on his hair?
He claims he just does a little shoo of water, whatever you call it, a little run through of water.
I'll take the over 3 minutes for sure.
Yeah, he's downplaying it for sure. He definitely spends more time on that piece than he claims.
Yep. You know what? Hey, Tony, we don't got to do anything with our haircut, buddy.
0-0-1-2, baby.
That's right. We don't have to mess around. Hoop, I don't know. Hoop just wears a hat.
I got a little bit. I mean, I go pretty short. I mean, not as short as you guys. I mean, I got a little something up here.
Commanders and Giants, Tony. Anything for you here? All right. Wait, I start with Tony. Hoop.
Gosh, man. I've talked about it with Saquon here for a while. He's had a great season overall, but you look at the game logs and like where's the slate where you absolutely needed him, and I think it's just like the first week of the season he goes off for 36, and then his best performance after that's been 26 fantasy points, which that's not good enough nowadays. These running backs are nuking these slates for like 35 to 40 fantasy points. I've been fading him for a few weeks here, and I'm just going to continue on. And actually, the Commanders' defense is solid, man. Like they're a good defense overall. So yeah, no Saquon for me. Just going to be really the same as Tony. Like I've been playing Terry McLaurin, and it's one of those situations where you really can't stop now. He had a couple solid weeks. But this is a team that's winning in a different way, by their defense. And, but Brian Robinson has actually been really solid running the ball. Antonio Gibson has been good. So they're kind of winning in different ways. But I'll definitely still have some Terry McLaurin, and that's it here.
Yeah, the problem with Saquon, like, it's really tough to spin up for two of these running backs today. I think you need to spin up for one, but spinning up for two is nearly impossible. You have salary restraints. And I just like other running backs more that are expensive. I like Eckler more. I like McCaffrey more. I like Derrick Henry more. Everybody likes Nick Chubb more. So Saquon, I don't know. He kind of gets left out in the cold for me. So if he crushes me, if he's the one that goes for 40, it's not going to be a good day for your boy. Let's talk Packers and Bears. 44.5 point total. The Packers 4.5 point favorites on the road. We get Justin Fields back, but it's a little bit of a banged up Justin Fields. He's 7-4 on this slate. Tony, I've been playing Justin Fields for a month. I think this is where I have to say no mas, because I can't play a banged up quarterback that can't throw the ball and only runs. Like, I just can't do it. What do you think about Fields? What do you think about this Packers side? David Montgomery's going to get some ownership. What are we doing in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, I can't play Fields. I was on him a few of those, but even Mooney's out. I mean, look at who he's throwing to today. I know we play him because he's a runner, but if the defense knows he's got no receiving options, I mean, that does help spy him and do stuff to slow him down a little bit on the ground. And he's injured on top of it. He might be the worst play of the slate. Not Noperk worthy because he can nuke it, but I just don't. I can't imagine playing him over some of those afternoon guys.
Yeah.
So I'm out on him. In Green Bay, I mean, what are they now, 4-7 or whatever they are? Aaron Rodgers' hands hurt. I mean, this game looks like as clear of a fade as I could possibly see.
Like, I just look at this game and I don't think here. You want a weird receiver play?
I always want a weird receiver play from Crain.
Well, the Bears' #1 receiver is 3.8K.
As long as his name's not Chase Claypool, I mean,
I got bad news.
I'm interested. I'm interested with you a little bit there, Crain.
I don't think Chase Claypool is the craziest thing because
what's funny about the NFL, like this dude has sucked ever since he's come into the league.
Yeah, and everyone just thinks he's good. It is funny.
Like if he was any other name, we would be like laugh about it. But we think he's good for some reason.
I mean,
it's like the wide receivers, though. They put the dudes on these pedestals, and like they're good because everyone said they're good, but like they have never done anything. But they're good because they said that this guy's going to be good. What
has this dude ever done?
He's never done anything. It's incredible. But I am going to side with Crain a little bit this week. I mean, if they get in a scenario where they're down 2 touchdowns, have to pass, like they're going to have to throw the ball to Claypool. 3.8K. Man, he's like the only guy I want to play in this game, though. So,
and you know, Tony's talking about the Packers bringing in spies, making sure Fields doesn't beat him on the ground. That's going to open stuff up for wide receivers. He has to throw to somebody.
Yeah, but it's still Justin Fields throwing the football, which isn't good.
I get it, but Claypool's good for a couple deep shots a game, and at 3.8.
Don't the Packers have the really good cornerback too? Like
Jair
Alexander. He's physical. Claypool's physical. He's just going to body bag this. I mean, what are you hoping for? 12? Like, I mean,
Claypool can get, 5 for 60 and a touchdown. That's 17. That's not a total out of line, line at the end. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm going to play some, but yeah, it's not a comfortable feeling by any means.
God, how good does Big T run? He gets to write down. He doesn't Chase Claypool. Like some of us have to take stands on good plays. Tony's like, no, I don't like Chase Claypool. Jamal Agnew, not for me. Like, congratulations, Tony.
Yeah, Cole Kmet too. Actually, I will say, I think Kmet is a play too at tight end. That's good. Someone mentioned that in chat.
Tony's about to cry. He's like,
"What you guys have brought up the worst dudes ever." I used to get made fun of for bringing just the worst dudes up. Now you guys are playing. It's come full circle.
Is it weird?
Every dude we've talked about so far on this show,
dude. Look at the first 3 games. We got to make something happen here. I mean, it was so bad that Holden had to come on and try to right the fucking ship. Like so. And looking at these next games, it doesn't even. Where are the good? They're all at 4, huh? 4 Eastern.
Yeah, they're all later. We'll spend a lot of time on the Chiefs game.
I guarantee K. Fallick's using Chase Claypool on the King of the Beach today.
Man,
that sounds like somebody he'd play. So no interest in Aaron Jones for either of you? Who?
Man, I mean, 6.9K. He'll be in my player pool for 150, but not like a core type play by any means. I mean, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers is truly banged up, maybe he is a better play than I'm thinking of.
I like 6.9. It just seems too cheap for a good running back who's a favorite against a suspect defense. Tony, any interest in Jones for you?
I don't understand why these teams are dead teams. Like, what are we doing?
They still get fantasy points.
What are we doing with ourselves here?
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough start. I mean, these games are not very appealing. So maybe
we're allowed to. It's not a requirement that you got to play these guys. I mean, we're allowed to fade games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fading David Montgomery. He's going to get some ownership, and I don't really have a lot of interest there.
That's a bold stance.
Dude, he's gonna be double-digit owned.
People are not playing David Montgomery stuff.
He'll be 10%. They're paying the rate.
I mean, everyone, because no one can fade stuff. So everyone ends up like 8 to 10. Like, oh God, get us to something else.
All right,
even Mangone's making fun of you guys.
We'll move on to the Jets and the Vikings. 44.5 point total. Minnesota 3-point favorites at home. You've got Dalvin Cook in this one. Justin Jefferson, he's going to see the sauce a lot. Adam Thielen, he's going to be low on. TJ Hawkinson, he's going to be way too low on. I like Hawk today. Tony, since you hate the other games, since you're making fun of me, go ahead, brother. Talk to us.
I mean, at least we got to some good players finally, like Justin Jefferson, who is 3% owned every freaking week. And again this week, no one's going to play him again because Sauce is on, which I agree. Sauce is amazing. He's really, really good. But I know who's better than Sauce. His name's Justin Jefferson, and he nukes everyone. So definitely going to play him again. Hawkinson looks amazing, actually, too, since he's got to Minnesota.
I love Hawk. I love Hawk.
Love him. One of the best tight end plays. He's going to be low owned, too. So me and Crain are back together in this game because I like those two. Dalvin Cook's a guy that's definitely on my notebook list. He looks totally dusted, like no burst whatsoever. I'm done with him for sure. But Jefferson and Hawk definitely on them. So if I like both of them, I mean, I guess you could play Cousins, but I never play Cousins really. It is 1 p.m. though, and you do have 2 pass catchers, but I like that side. And then the Jets side, man. I made fun of the chalk last week. What's Garrett Wilson going to be this week after going off? Is it going to be super high again?
It'll be 25%.
His freaking price is still just sitting in that range that's so freaking annoying at 5,300 where everyone plays him, and I hate it. But, man, he's good. Like, he's talented. It's hard. It's hard for me, but his price is too cheap, so you can definitely play him. Mike White looked good last week. If you think there's points in this game, he's still 5,400. And the running backs, I mean, they're going to have 3 of them, so you have to ignore that. The passing game, though, I mean, Elijah Moore hasn't been great, but he's 37. Oh, I would definitely play him over Claypool. And Conklin, I guess you could put him in your tight end grouping. He's had a pretty good season, so I'd put him in there too. Don't love this game, but I at least have some pieces in it.
Okay, so you just wrote off Zonovan Knight?
I mean, they're going to play 3 dudes. I don't see how you can play a guy in that. He's terrible too on top of it.
He's 4'6", a starting running back. Like,
there's 3 running backs though.
I get what you're saying. I don't know, maybe they'll rule James Robinson out.
Well, if they rule him out, first of all, we didn't talk about it. The late news has murdered me this year. The last 4 weeks, the late news has just crucified me. So please don't roll James Robinson out because I don't want to play Zion. If he gets rolled out though, you can definitely. I even said it on the Print Factory this week. I mean, if James Robinson's not in, 4,600 is too cheap. If he's in, though, I mean, they're going to play the hot hand, all 3 of them. So, I don't know.
All right, Hoop. A lot to talk about in this game for a Jets-Vikings game, which is 2 months ago. We would not have thought we would spend a lot of time on this game. But here we are. Hoop, are you playing Zonovan Knight, Garrett Wilson? You playing Big T's boy, Justin Jefferson? What are we doing in this one?
The night thing is, I guess, somewhat frustrating because I think he actually looked pretty good last week. Got a lot of work, 14 carries, 3 receptions, but the talk has been that these guys are going to split all the work, and I think that is probably the case. Like, I do think James Robinson gets a chunk of work here. I have Zonovan in right now. I haven't ran any teams yet, so I don't know how much I'm going to get, but he could definitely be a guy that I end up taking out of the player pool. Garrett Wilson, man, I like these wide receivers that just when the quarterback throws the ball to him, they're wide open. And that seems like is always the case with Garrett Wilson. He finds a way to just get wide freaking open, too cheap. He's going to be popular, but we got a big slate here, a lot of wide receiver plays. So, it should be somewhat contained. The Viking side's easy for me. Justin Jefferson, always low owned, like Tony said, play some of Justin Jefferson every week. You're doing it right. If you play, a decent bit, you're way over the field. I've played Hawkinson for, 3 straight weeks. I'm going to continue to do it. The price is at a range where I think people just don't want to go. They want to go up to Kelsey or go all the way down to the 3K guys. And then, a guy like Hawkinson always gets overlooked. I'll be on Hawkinson for sure this week. And then Dalvin Cook, he has not looked good. That is for sure. But the work was certainly there last week. 22 rush attempts and then 4 catches. So 26 touches. But again, it was not good because he got less than 2 yards per carry on the 22, and he has not looked good. He has not looked explosive. But I probably am going to have some of him. The price on FanDuel on him is just really, really cheap. He's I think it's 7.1K. So I do really like him over there, where if he just finds the end zone, you're kind of good with it. So Yeah, I mean, there's some plays here, many more than the previous 3 games. That's for sure. A lot of people are shitting on us for for the guys we talked about, but I guess we're maybe just trying to make something out of nothing in those previous games. But this one has some legitimate plays for sure.
The guy in the chat says Jets have allowed 0 touchdowns to the tight end position this year. First of all, I just don't care, and second of all, they've played Mark Andrews and a bunch of nobodies. I definitely don't care. Oh, they haven't allowed any touch. Guess what? It's coming today from TJ Hawkinson. I know that's coming. Hawk's getting in the box today. I have no idea what's going to happen in this next game. It's the Browns at the Texans, 46.5 point total. Cleveland, 7.5 point favorites on the road. And Tony, this is a game where more than any game I think we've had this season, I think there's a wide range of outcomes. We don't know. I mean, Deshaun Watson hasn't played in 2 years. We don't know if he's going to suck. We don't know if he's going to be great. We don't know if he's going to come in and throw the ball 40 times. We don't know if they're going to come in and only have him throw the ball 20 times. We know Nick Chubb's about one of the safest plays on the entire slate, but with this passing game, Tony, I have absolutely no idea what to expect. Do you know what to expect?
I like the words that Crain used for Watson, by the way. Is he going to suck? Is he going to come in? Like, just nail him.
Is he going to massage your lineups? I don't know.
Is he going to massage your lineups to the top of the leaderboard today?
So, I mean, I gave some pretty strong takes on the Prem Factory, the premium show we do. I just don't see it. The dude hasn't played in 2 years. They're playing Houston, so they should get easy points. I get why people think there could be a wide range because they could absolutely crush Houston. But the dude hasn't played in 2 years. They're gonna massage him into this thing a little bit. I couldn't even imagine playing him today. Like I couldn't imagine clicking the button. If I play anyone, it would be Chubb, but it's hard to click that. Like Crain said earlier, spend ups are tough. I think this game plays ugly. Houston's a dead team. Cleveland's bringing Watson back for the first time in 2 years. I know everyone's saying, oh, he's going against Houston. He wants to crush them. There's a big difference between wanting to do something and actually doing it. The dude hasn't played in 2 years. I just don't see it. Harrison Bryant, those look pretty good at 2,700. You have to put him in your tight end group against Houston. Definitely have to. And then the Houston side, I hope people play a dusty-ass Nico Collins. I mean, go
He's
ahead.
in his second year. How is he dusty?
Yeah, I mean, Houston is awful.
I get Houston's awful. He's a number 1 receiver. He's going to
I would rather just play Philip Dorsett or Chris Moore at 3K.
Oh, man. No.
If I was going to play anybody, I'm not playing Nico, though. I mean, what's Nico going to do to break a slate?
Hold on. Crain.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, here, Nico's got.
What are we writing? I need to know what I
I'm taking. I'm just. I mean, I don't know a specific point. Hoop, give us a point total on Nico here.
Hoop definitely likes Nico. That is a hoop one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think 11 fantasy points is.
I think 11 too. So we're all the same page.
I'll take the over on 11.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing them. Obviously, I'm playing all these dudes, Moore and Dorsett. I mean, 3.2, 3K. 4.2K. I'm in for sure.
There's like no difference between the three of them, though. Why not just play the 3K guys? Go up to other dudes.
Because Nico's the guy I know he's going to get all the targets. He's going to get 10 targets.
But he's also going to be 20% owned.
Nico's going to be like, I'm looking at 10 right now.
I've been dominating you guys on these ownerships, by the way. Put that in the notepad. Every week I've looked and I haven't rubbed it in because I forget, but I've been owning you guys with your.
All right, I'll take under Nico.
Okay, let's just set it at 20. I think that's a little
20.
high.
Thank you.
Way under. Under.
I mean, it is high, but I think he'll get the 20. Literally everyone they love plays like Nico that are the number 1 receiver on the shittiest team in earth.
You just gave Crain a free. You just gave Crain a free victory lap next week.
My Nico Claypool team is going to be awesome.
No. I mean, can you imagine, like, at the end of a day saying, I won a tournament? It's impossible.
It's not.
You play those two, it's literally impossible to win a tournament. Literally.
No, it's not.
Right there.
Here's the first unplayable. Those two together are unplayable. Okay?
You literally can't win
those
a tournament.
You can't play those
impossible.
two together. That is an unplayable pairing. Okay. You can mark that one down. That's the first unplayable.
I want to be on that same note in the notepad because it's literally impossible.
Nico is you're not going to win with maybe a high stakes thing where you can have more busts. Yeah, but like the large field
normal
stuff,
tournament. Like you're not winning a normal tournament with that. Yeah, you can win a 20-man field. Like anything can happen in those.
Yeah, you agree. I think Crain, I think that might even be 3 for 3. You wrote it down, but I think you probably agree with us. You're not winning shit.
Where's the
with
old Crain that needed 37x? Well, what's 11 gonna get?
He wants
11
2x.
ain't gonna get it done. 20 can get it done.
2x Crain. But I mean, I am playing the guys too. I do agree though with the Deshaun Watson thing. Are people just excited because he's coming back? So they want to
won't
play
even
him?
get owned. I think it's just like a talking point.
I don't know, man. Like all the projection sites have him like way up there. I know a lot of people rely on that. Like he's up there in terms of projections on the slate.
The hot towel play of the day.
They have a lot of different ways to win here. They can just give it to Chubb, obviously, if they want. I do like Harrison Bryant. Price is starting to get up there on Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was always a cheap dude. Now he's at almost $5K. Yeah, I'm a little more skeptical about the situation than most.
So I'm a little bit surprised Chubb's not going to be more popular.
There's just a lot of good running backs.
Yeah, no, I know. I just assumed Chubb was going to be the one everybody played. I mean,
people just hate playing him.
I hate playing him. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't really like playing him either, but
he can break slates though, no doubt about it. Like I won't say he can't be on the winner because he definitely can.
I mean, we've just been playing running backs versus this Texans team all year, and now we get one of the best.
And they're gonna try to get Watson like involved, so I could see Chubb nuking for sure. I mean, I should play him on something.
I mean,
I'm gonna play Chubb. I'm playing Chubb.
I mean, Cleveland's gonna score at least some points. Yeah. Even Locks is in there making fun of you, Crain. I mean, you can't have Locks in there, the hottest man going.
I don't think Crane's not going to play them together. I would like to.
I want to know what happened to Crain with the upside. He used to make fun. He used to shame us so hard for plays like Nico Collins.
Nico has upside.
Oh my God.
I do agree with him on that part. I do like the Nico play.
Yeah. I think Nico can get you 5x.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think 5x.
Things have changed over the years. Now we only need 5x.
We're dropping 32. We're dropping 32 X's out, and we're down to 5.
Not to mention, Houston is literally. There's no way he's getting 20. Like no chance. Houston sucks. They don't even try. They're like literally just losing games. They don't care at all.
Okay, so I will ask you this, Tony. Houston Texans defense, 2,300 against Deshaun Watson, who we don't know what to expect. I don't mind it.
I mean, you can literally play any defense, and I wouldn't any defense I wouldn't make fun of ever. Like against a dude that hasn't played in 2 years. Do I think? I mean, Houston is really bad, but who knows? The dude hasn't played in 2 years. He could throw a pick six. Anything. I mean, I actually don't hate that. I wasn't going to do it, but I don't hate that call, Crain. 2,300. Right. I can do that maybe.
All right, that's right. Now I'm touting defenses. Screw the wide receivers. Screw the running backs.
When can we get rid of defenses, by the way? Who do we got to vote to? Get those things out of here.
Get rid of the defenses. Move it to Superflex. Nobody would complain. Nobody would complain. All right.
Literally no one. Except our boy Siege. He's got a model.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, don't even. Nope. We don't say the S word. All right.
Don't say the S word.
Yeah, let's talk Titans and Eagles. 44.5 point total. The Eagles, 4.5 point favorites at home. Another game that's not going to get a lot of ownership, Hoop. Do you have interest in anybody here?
How do the Eagles just still never play a team? Like, how do they never play like a good team? How are they never playing the Chiefs? Like, how are they never playing the Bills? Like, even like they just don't play any teams. Like, it's just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a schedule
have they
this
played a good offense yet this year?
I don't think they have. Like, if they do, they're going to get so pounded at the first game of the playoffs. I want to just I wish I could just max bet that right now. Whoever they play, they're going to lose.
All right, they've played the Packers, Colts, Washington, Houston, Pittsburgh. Dallas and Arizona, okay, and then Jacksonville.
Even Dallas wasn't a great. That was a not.
And the quarterback was injured, and they're losing the whole game. And they're losing. They had to come back in the second half.
So the best quarterback they've played this year is Kyler.
Yeah, and they get another shitty one again here today at home. So I don't know. AJ Brown, Hurts is rushing the ball just 16 and 17 rush attempts his last two. Like, got to be on the radar a little bit. I mean, there are a lot of cheap quarterbacks this week. Again, I haven't ran my teams, but someone that's running the ball 16 and 17 times, that's something I might be interested in. AJ Brown should be low owned. This is a revenge game for him. This is the first time he's faced the Titans, or
this
no?
This is the ultimate revenge spot.
Yeah. So he could, at low ownership, go off. Maybe, curious to hear what you guys say on that. On the Titan side, probably just Treylon Burks. He's been good, man. Like, he's been very solid. We talked about these cheaper guys and their upside. He's showing the upside, 17 and 21 in the last couple of weeks. So I will have him in my player pool as well. But I don't know. I just hate the Eagles games. But AJ Brown is interesting, I think, at this price. He's got to be like really low owned now that I talk about it, right? He's got to be coming in
under 5%. Yeah.
Yeah. So revenge spot. Maybe sounds like Big T might be interested.
I will say too, I don't think anybody's playing Derrick Henry, and I like him a lot this week. Like, these physical running backs have just been pounding Philly, and I know they're getting that tackle back, but like, Derrick Henry at no ownership, like, he can absolutely break a slate, and this Eagles team has just been getting gashed up the middle. So I think he's really interesting today. Tony, let's go to you, man. You playing AJ Brown? It sounds like somebody
I love AJ Brown. It's the ultimate revenge spot. And a lot of guys, you don't know if they're vengeful. I know he is. He was pissed that he just didn't like how they treated him there. He left. I mean, he wants to shove it so far up there that I love him. And Henry, I mean, even Houston ran on Philadelphia. Everybody's been running on Philadelphia. I haven't played Henry once all year, and today I'm definitely going to be on him, though. It just looks like a Henry spot to me. And Tennessee coming off the loss, my Bengals pounded them last week, really out-physicaled them. And I know how Vrabel is. He's going to rally these guys to win the line of scrimmage today against Philly. I could see Henry having a monster game, and I like that. I mean, literally no one's playing Henry and A.J. Brown on a team together. It's so low owned, and they both have massive upside. So I'm definitely in on those guys. Jalen Hurts, you can play any week, rushing upside, everything Hoop said, I agree with. I mean, anybody that's going to run like that has to be in play. And I mean, I don't know if you can play Hurts, AJ, and Henry. You're going to have to go down and play Claypool and the 3K dudes to make it happen. But
you're definitely going to play
double naked stack the Titans or Texans wide receivers. Play both.
But I do like all three of those guys, though. I think Tennessee wins this game today is my take.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're with me on Henry. I thought I was going to get laughed at for that play for sure. I'm very happy.
Patty Ice in the chat's right. Titans money line. Give the points to the next dude. That's right.
The Colts should have fucking had him too. And that was the week they just became massive pussies in the second half. And they outplayed them the entire game. Like, Colts definitely should have beat their asses. Like, this Eagles situation just tilts me more than anything in football right now. I mean, how do you get that sort of schedule? Like, how? Like, how is that possible?
I mean,
the annoying part for me is I put a couple thousand on Jalen Hurts MVP, knowing their schedule is bad, and they weren't even good enough to run the table, so he can't win the friggin' MVP even on top of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our game. Hey, before we talk about this game, though, I want to talk about some stuff that's going on over at RunPureSports. How does that sound? Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds fabulous.
All right, because first off, guys, click that like button, click that subscribe button. But we got a lot of stuff going on. We got obviously spreads, NBA rundown, the Talk and Touchdown show, NBA hardwood. I was on the hardwood yesterday with Glott and Kurt. It was a good time. And of course, as we talked about yesterday, Hoop's favorite sport, we have the World Cup going on. And Hoop, you might not like the sport, you might not like the sweat, but you like the giblets, as they say. So I know that you're going to be playing that. And Tony, you've been crushing soccer, Tony. I saw you up there with a nice little 20K hit the other day.
Yep, played it every day. Got my core up. I'm following Rubio and Jaime to the promised land.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I'm the same way, and I don't know a soccer player, one from the next, but man, I'm playing the guys. They're getting crosses. They're scoring goals. Nice little assists.
And we're scoring right there, France. That's how you do a sell or whatever it's called.
Let's go,
game. France. Let's go right on cue, Crain.
Was it your boy Mbappe?
Yes, it is. That was Giroud, however you say his name.
We don't. Hey,
that was a key dude too. That's what you do, Crain. You bring good mojo.
Hey, I'm here for the people, baby. But yeah, we got the core plays. We got the play put going on, and I want to talk about how our members, they just never win. So let's hear about some of these members that never win. We got Drex26. He hit for 4,500 in NBA. New subscriber Tom, welcome to the club. 15,000 in NBA. Fur PBC shipped for $33,000. And the man 11, he's always crushing. 100,000 in NBA. And then of course for the World Cup, we had Poker Pastor winning $2,000. Big T winning over 20,000. Rubio, I saw this yesterday. He won 20,000. Eddie turned $500. Big investment, but not too big. But certainly not too big to win over $30,000. Congrats to Eddie. And of course, in NFL, where we've been crushing it, we got DK After hitting big on Thanksgiving, winning over $10,000. C Jacobs 986. He joined him shipping for $15,000 in NFL. LT Dog 24 shipped for $50,000 in NFL. Tambo, he's over there with the King of the Beach today. He won the FFWC seat in NFL and hoop over $100,000 in showdown with your core that featured Jelani Woods. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. I took that slate off, and like the first thing I always do when I build a showdown core, I just like copy Hoop's core. And I saw you show. I'm like, no.
That one was surprising because I honestly thought Jelani Woods would be like very popular, and for some reason I don't know what it was, but he was not. And on FanDuel he's like 5%. He was like 5K or something. Obviously that that turned out pretty well, but yeah, a ton of members absolutely smashed because Jelani Woods was not as popular as everyone kind of projected, and you clearly needed him. Big T had the Michael Pittman call as well. So, I mean, really, if you put it all together, worked out well because you needed Taylor
that night too.
You needed Taylor, Pittman, and Woods together, and that was basically the winner.
That was the reason So in the 2K or 3K that night, whatever it is, my main team that I always put in, what I had up for the members though was to play Pittman and JT Taylor on all the teams plus. Yeah. Basically, if you had everything we said, it left you with 2,300 or 2,400. So it was like the backup tight end from Pittsburgh was 2,300 Gentry, and then the next guy was Jelani. So I could have played Jelani on my main team, but I was like, the reason I'm playing Pittman and JT was so that they'd get all the – and I had Ryan. So I had all three of them already. And I was like, I don't want to – I'm playing them for the volume, so I can't play Jelani with it. And, what a donkey move from Big T. Just a horrible move. I still did good that night, but, man, it cost me so much money. I played friggin' Gunner or whatever his name is over Jelani. Just awful. Awful move.
Every time I try and go with a script like that, I can't play him because they're going to get all the – it just screws me every time.
It's even worse when you like the guy too. Like I played him in all my other team, but just that one main team, I didn't put him in like a donkey.
Well, here's a game where Hoop's going to be putting guys in. It's Jacksonville and Detroit. This game has Hoop written all
when you win a millie with that Detroit stack, you're gonna tend to fire that puppy in there. Replicate that thing. Just switch the
team. I'm gonna get a Velcro replacement for the guys because it's coming today.
Well, it's a 51.5 point total. Detroit 1.5 favorites. So we get a game against Detroit. We have a high total. We have a close spread. We have some guys that are too cheap. Hoop, I know you like this spot. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the winning lineup, and I can't duplicate any of the players on here, unfortunately. All the Lions guys, Hawkinson's gone, Reynolds not in play, Jamal Williams not in play, so I can't even play any of the guys that help me. So maybe I'll get the rest of these guys. But I mean, this is the spot, man. I mean, Detroit at home, they play no defense. You get this dome situation. Jacksonville, they have competent pieces. I mean, they're not a great team, but Lawrence has been playing better. Christian Kirk's been phenomenal. Have we seen anything on Zay Jones? Because he's the one guy that's like questionable. There's been no news at all throughout the week. That's one thing to monitor. But he's been a target monster. But if he misses, then we get like more cheap guys. Like Ingram would get a boost. Marvin Jones would get a boost. You got ETN. Sounds like he's full go. Crain, you've been on him all season long. I absolutely love the Jacksonville side. And Yeah, I mean, will they be owned? For sure, but again, there's ways around it. I mean, the week that I won the Millie with that, I mean, that game was highly owned, but I did different things to make sure my teams were unique. So definitely interested in all these pieces: Lawrence, ETN, Kirk, Zay Jones if he's in, and even Ingram. And then on the Detroit side, I'm in on Goff, man. 5.3K. I think he's totally fine. Jameson Williams back. I mean, in a limited role, but that definitely can't hurt him. I know a lot of people are saying like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, you have to downgrade him a little bit with Williams back. I totally disagree with that. Like, this dude is
that's the dumbest thing. Like, no, he's the guy.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
The guys don't get downgraded.
What's the new thing they say on Twitter every day? He's him.
Yeah, he's him. That's him.
It's him.
It's him. And I got to give credit to our guy JT Hayes, because it's Amon-Ra has been him to JT Hayes like way before it was cool. JT was on him last season all year long, and he definitely benefited from that. But yeah, and on St. Brown, I like a little bit of DJ Chark. I know Tony was on him Thanksgiving, 3.8K. They found him in the
give me him over Claypool too, by the way.
There we go. I like that because
Shark made me money on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he found
he
that.
was a really good play that day. I know it. I had him. I don't always say my plays are great plays, though. I take out. That was a great play that day. He got a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a great game all around. Definitely prefer the passing side, but ETN, I think, strong play too. Really good price tag for him, and looked like he could have came back last week. He was on the sideline. Didn't look severely injured, so I think he gets full workload here. But this is a explosion spot, I think, and I'm going to be heavily exposed to it.
Tony, are you on Hoop's side here?
Yeah, I love this game. It looks good. All Detroit games at home, pretty much I'm going to like. It would have to be like a really physical team for me not to like it. And even when they played like Philly, they scored a bunch of points. They might have even played the Niners in a shootout too. Maybe that was last year. But I always like Detroit at home. They're just a good team. And you have so many affordable prices in this game. I mean, just on the Jacksonville side, you have, assuming Zay Jones is in, I mean, you got Zay, Kirk, even Marvin Jones is somewhat cheap. Ingram is a cheap tight end. Obviously, ETN. I just love these games. Everyone likes these games where you have so many pieces that you can put in that just connect with each other. Not much defense. I don't know how you wouldn't. And the sun god, Amon-Ra, I play him every week. I'm going to continue to play him every week. The dude is just a beast. He's him, as we say.
Why does DK hate him so much? Like, he's an 8K wide receiver. Like, and that's the one spot DK has done good at pricing is wide receiver for the most part. But yet they just won't budge this dude, and he's just phenomenal every week.
Yeah, I mean, the Jacksonville side's more cluttered, but Detroit, I mean, you can play Goff with Amon-Ra, like DJ Chark at 3,800. I love that little three-man stack. Definitely not playing Jamal or Swift, so I'm with Hoop there. So I just don't think Jameson plays that much, but on FanDuel, he is min price, which in tournaments, this dude is a freaking stud. Like, make no mistake about it. He is a monster. Probably not going to play a ton today, but for 4,500 on FanDuel, he's got upside at least. I mean, who knows? Maybe he plays more than we think. You can't play him on DK. I agree with that. But at 4,500 on FanDuel, I'm just saying, don't forget about him. Pop him in. Like, say you got a bunch of good guys and you just need one super salary saver. Don't be afraid to pop him in there on FanDuel is all I'm saying.
And I do want to say that. So I've had 3 people independently message me this week and say, man, I think I'm going to play 1% Swift. What do you think? And I'm going to tell you guys listening the exact same thing that I tell them. He's not going to get goal line carries. Just don't even mess with it.
Jamal Williams going to be so many touchdowns.
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, I just can't do Swift.
Here's the first of the show. Unplayable. He's unplayable.
Yep.
And it's not a hot take. It's not a hot take or anything, but yeah, DeAndre Swift.
I think he might get a little bit of like not a lot. Like, he'll still be under 5%, but I think he's going to get a little bit of ownership. I mean, I've had 3 people message me about him. And like,
what is their like selling point though? Like, do they think he's going to get more work or something?
He's off the injury report and he's good. That's like,
I mean, he's definitely good, but man, you need him to break one, right? Like you need him to catch a screen and just house it.
Yeah. Oh God, Swift has been getting goal line carry. Jamal Williams gets 20 touchdowns a game, and Swift's been getting
literally scores like 6 times a week, so he doesn't get that many goal line work.
Yeah.
If you can't, running back is so good these days. You just can't waste this position. You just can't.
Yep. And maybe he houses two, and like we look stupid.
I don't think it's possible. Like totally impossible that he houses two. He's talented. He's really good, but that doesn't mean he's a good. Even if he gets there, that doesn't mean he's a good play.
Yeah. It's just I just had to say that because if I've had 3 people message me about it, I know other people are thinking it too, and I just wanted to it's just not. You guys thought I was going to say to play him, didn't you?
No, I was hoping you weren't.
You already locked in that price range. You got your boy Najee. They're only a couple hundred apart, so you're good.
We started that show so bad.
It was so bad that Holden had to come on.
That's how bad it was. Holden had to tap in.
Oh man, we got to get these likes up too. I didn't give a number, but I'm gonna say
14.
Yeah, 14 spins is big.
Today's definitely the first day we're not getting it.
We're getting it. I bet we get there.
All right, guys, you heard who. If you want the place of the
put
day.
It on my notebook. I say we can't get there.
I feel very good about the fact that we're gonna get there.
All right. Hoop said 1,400, guys. We got to get to 1,400 for the plays of the day. Go ahead and click that like button. Helps us out. We like helping you out. Thank you very much. And, man, we should have done the likes before a better game than the Broncos and the Ravens. It's a 39.5-point total. Baltimore, 9.5-point favorites at home. I'm not playing anybody in this game, Tony. Are you?
I'm looking at the prices just to make sure I'm not missing anybody, but I'm definitely not ever playing a Broncos guy again, at least this year. So you can scratch that freaking off.
Without Judy, I still think Sutton was an okay process play, but like with Judy in, I can't pay over $5K for any of these guys.
I mean, the only guy I could even make a case for in this game is Mark Andrews, just because he's a good tight end, 6,600. He hasn't looked great though since the injury. I'm not playing anyone in this game.
Yeah, me either. Hoop.
Man, wow. How pathetic this Broncos team. You have to feel bad for like the Broncos.
They got to
fans.
be the worst team, right?
Yeah.
As far as like expectations, like they have to be.
I know I throw out the, bottom 5 quarterback thing a lot, but Russell Wilson might be like the worst, like in the league. It is crazy. Like Pete Carroll just has to go to bed every single night with his pants down, just like pleasuring himself because he called it. They called it right away. They're like, no, like this guy's not good. They're on it ahead of everyone. And I think it's kind of similar to what Tony said about the top wide receivers. Like you just assume that those guys are good. Like a guy like Russell Wilson, I think the last couple of years, we all just assumed that Russell Wilson was a good quarterback and, Pete Carroll was holding him back. And man, has that theory been proven wrong? He's just a disaster. And I don't know how you play anyone in this game. I guess outside of like Mark Andrews, I mean, he can get 2 or 3 touchdowns in any game, but this just screams a game where Baltimore is just going to pound it with all these running backs. Or maybe 2 of them will get touchdowns. Lamar might get a rushing touchdown, and they're just going to win like 24-3 or something and get the hell out of here. Like they can win however they want in this spot. And the fantasy pieces are not appealing. Although the one guy, you guys can laugh at me for this, is Demarcus Robinson. I played him a little bit recently, and he had that big time game. He's a guy that I might play.
Okay, well, good luck.
You guys don't even need to. You guys don't even need to comment on it. Really, you can just leave it at that. And move
Russ even more because the funniest like GIF or whatever from Twitter yesterday was someone put Russ's face on those Dr. Pepper ladies going like this with the ball. I literally fell off the couch. They're like, Russ finally earning his money. I was freaking dying.
Oh gosh,
let Russ cook.
If you. Like, there are going to be people that want to play Lamar, and I get it. We know the upsides there.
He's looked bad, too. Like, has he shown upside?
No, none. I mean, I guess he had 24 last week. I mean, but
Lamar.
Yeah, they're just winning games differently. I mean, he had the 2 slates early on in the season where he just absolutely nuked them. but ever since they're just kind of rolling, and
Yeah.
they're just not going to push anything here.
Look, there's gonna be a week where Lamar goes for 40 and you're gonna
Yeah.
need him, and I'm not gonna have him. Like
It's not going to be versus Denver's D, I don't think, unless they totally quit.
Yeah. I mean, somebody in the chat asked about Gus Edwards. Just no. Like there are 4 running backs there if you count Lamar. Like I just
Same
just
thing we
can't
keep
do it.
saying, running back's a premium position. Punt receiver, even though I don't like Claypool, but running back take chances at receiver more than running back.
Yeah. No, you just running back, you know who's going to get 20 carries, like Najee. So you just know who to play at running back. All right, let's have some fun. Let's move on to the 4 p.m. games. Guys, click that like button, click that subscribe button. If you like these 4 p.m. games, and I know we're going to like them, go ahead and click that like button. We're trying to get to 1,400 likes for our plays of the day. It's the Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers, 45.5-point total. San Francisco 4.5-point favorites at home. And, for a high total, I think it's not that high. Hoop, we don't have a lot in this game that people are going to play, but we've seen some guys in this game. We've seen Tyreek and Waddle. We've seen Debo not as much this year. We've seen Christian McCaffrey. No Elijah Mitchell now. There's a lot of upside with these guys. There's not going to be a lot of ownership.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a spot that I'm going to have much ownership either.
Okay.
I just think the 49ers defense is probably the best in football, and I think they might be like the best team. I think they're right there with these top teams. So at home here, they've looked so damn good. I think they just kind of have their way in this game. I just have so much respect for what the 49ers are doing. Early on in the week, I kind of thought like, okay, this could be McCaffrey's spot. I know a lot of people are still worried about the other dudes, and I don't know. As the week went on, I kind of bought into it. Like they're not gonna give McCaffrey just unlimited work. So kind of came off him a little bit. Debo was questionable coming in. Not a ton of interest in him. Kittle, I think, is fine, maybe, but you need like a close competitive game. So it's moderate interest in him. And then on the Miami side, I think I'm just going to fade the whole side and just kind of trust my read on the 49ers.
I don't think Debo's a bad play.
Well, the prices. The price is amazing. They'll probably use him at running back a little bit, but man, I don't know. Like these 49er games scare me.
We talk about, but no Elijah Mitchell in there. Like we talk about guys having multiple paths to getting there. And I think Debo does have multiple paths. And I feel like he's maybe $1,000 too cheap. I don't know. I don't really understand why he's going to be so low owned. It's a team that's going to score some points. I don't buy into the Ayuk spike in usage. Kittle, who knows what's going to happen with him. I know this is probably a game where Tony likes Kittle. He likes these close games with George Kittle. But like, I don't know. I kind of like Tebow this week. Tony, I'll throw it to you, man. What are you doing in this spot?
Yeah, I love San Francisco in this spot. You give me San Fran against a team like Miami that can score a little bit, and I am always going to like them. And on top of it, Eli Mitchell's out. They're not gonna run these other dudes as much as people think. CMC explosion spot with no one on him. He's going to be completely unowned. He's going to totally go off. I'm going to set a rule on my team, so I'm glad you guys said about Debo. I want either CMC or Debo, not both, on all of my teams, basically.
Yep.
One of them is going to nuke, and there's no way around it. Kittle, I don't mind Kittle. He's 5K. Close games, like you guys both said. As long as they're not up like 2 touchdowns, he's always a really good play. And they might be up 2 touchdowns in this game. So I really like them. You can play Kittle for sure, especially if you like Miami. If you think Miami wins, I would love Kittle in this game at 5K. But I think
does anybody here think Miami's going to win?
I don't.
I don't
really like
it. I really think 49ers are like a top 3 team for sure.
And Miami's played a bunch of softies lately too. They haven't faced a team that's just nasty in the trenches like this. I love San Fran. Like I said, McCaffrey or Debo. Kittle, you can play. Niners D, I think, is the best D on the board against Tua. I think they just smothered Tua today. I think they want to make a statement. This is a statement game for them. So I'm all aboard San Fran. Miami, I just don't see a ton you can go to. You could, if you think this game shoots out, you can always play Tyreek or Waddle. No way I'm playing Tua. I mean, Jeff Wilson's price looks cheap, but Mostert's back. I don't know. I'm more on the San Fran side than the Miami side.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that about Debo because I don't like.
You don't
being
play CMC. I think he's a great play.
Yeah, like and I like CMC.
I think he's going to explode. I really do.
He
There's
might.
no backup there. Like I think he's going to nuke.
I'll come back on that side. Then. That was my initial. Yeah, that was my initial read early on in the week. Like I love CMC and I kind of backtracked, but guess what? Coming full circle with the crew, I'm back on CMC.
All right.
I just don't like the other guys, Tyrion Davis, Price. I mean, who they're not giving these dudes work.
Yeah.
No, Jordan Mason's not getting carries.
Jordan Mason. It's just, I mean, it's a bit completely different. Eli Mitchell's good. So they can at least kind of sprinkle it back and forth. This is the week.
Like Debo might get 6 or 7 carries in this game too. Like it's, I mean, this is going to be. He's just going to get. I don't
price
see.
Is definitely cheap.
Yeah.
If you somehow think McCaffrey's knee is bothering him and he doesn't get all the work, Debo has to be a lock.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to play Debo, and by the way, I never played Debo. I mean,
I don't either.
Never.
He's like the Chubb of receivers.
Yeah, like I probably haven't played him in 2 years, and this is the first week. I'm like, yeah, I really like him. All right, Seattle and
another
Rams.
point about this game too. Shanahan loves beating the crap out of his buddies, like and Miami's coach is his buddy. I always he's like the big brother to the whole crew. He just owns all of them. So yeah, last point about that.
All right, let's talk Seattle and the Rams. 40.5-point total. Seattle 6.5-point favorites at Los Angeles. John Wolfer getting the start for the Rams. I just can't imagine ever clicking on any of these Rams guys. Hoop, I'll throw it to you. Are you only playing guys from Seattle here?
Yeah, Rams just a dead team right now. I just don't see the reason to play any of these guys. I mean, it's the first team on, I mean, probably most slates for the rest of the season that I'm just crossing off and saying, I'll, deal with it if any of them go off. I think they're all terrible plays. On the Seattle side, Kenneth Walker, I think solid. I mean, good price tag on him. The guy is a stud. Geno Smith, I kind of tagged him as a cash option. Like, I think you can play him in cash games. He's been super steady. I kind of wonder what the upside here is. I mean, they should have their way in this spot. I like DK a little bit, big play upside, obviously, a little bit of Lockett, but I don't know. I'm not sold on this team. This would be like, guys that I would cut. Like if I'm not getting a bunch of them, if I run my teams and I'm not getting a lot of DK or Lockett, I could take them out just because I think, again, they can have their way in their spot. They're playing an absolutely dead team at this point. But Kenneth Walker would be my favorite play from the Seattle side.
Tony, you playing some Kenneth Walker?
I don't mind him. Again, I limit my player pool more than most, and I just hate this game, and I like other games. So, yeah, I don't mind Walker if you land on him for sure, but there's so many good running backs. I just hate this game. Just mark me off for this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I'm just writing this one off. Not writing off these likes, though. Guys, click that like button. Hoop, how are we doing on the likes?
Oh, let's pull her up here and see.
I know Boy looks safe.
Yeah, Big T's lock for the under 14 is probably probably a favorite at this point. We're only at 1.1, which means no plays in the day. Which
all right, guys, let's get going.
How many more games we got? Couple.
We got two games left, but they're games we're going to be spending some time on because there are a couple of important ones. But guys, trying to get to 1,400 likes for our plays of the day. Don't let Tony win this one. I'm begging you. Don't let Tony win. Like, click that like button. It helps us out. We got over 2,200 of you guys watching. So yeah, go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out. What is it? Click a like or take a hike. That's how we roll. All right. Sorry, Tambo. I'm stealing your material now. All right. Chargers at Raiders. We got 2 games left, and both of them are big boy fantasy spots. 49.5-point total. The Raiders 2.5-point favorites at home. We got Josh Jacobs. Sounds like he's going to be good to go, right? I didn't miss anything.
It looks iffy still to me. It definitely looks iffy.
Okay, I
just can't imagine him sitting here though. Like after
I don't think
how I feel
either, but I keep thinking they're going to just roll him in, and they don't. So yeah. I do think there's at least a chance he sits.
So we've got Josh Jacobs here once again. I don't know. He says 20%. I don't buy that at all. I don't think he's going to be 20%.
Not with this injury tag anymore. Yeah. It's definitely coming down.
Of course,
if it was a morning game and we knew he was in, I think he'd be 20. But in the afternoon, there's going to be uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to spend 7-9 on a running back that you don't
if he
know where
does
he's going to
somehow
be
get
in.
rolled out, I mean, it does change a lot for your team, obviously.
Yeah, and there's just not a lot of pivots down here. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're waiting on Jacobs news and he gets ruled out, yeah, I mean, you better be moving. I mean, I guess at that point you're hoping to get the news before the San Francisco game starts, and you need another pivot to get up to McCaffrey or up to Eckler. I don't know. It's a tough selling. It's tough selling for me to mess with Jacobs. So Jacobs, good play. Devontae Adams, always going to be a good play. Foster Moreau is going to get a little bit of ownership. Not somebody I'm going to today, but I get it. And then on the other side, you got Austin Eckler, you got Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer. Hoop, I'm going to start with you. A lot to like in this game.
Yeah, tons to like. I'll start with Jacobs. I just think he plays. And I actually kind of like the fact that he's in this later window because people are just not going to play him. They're going to build their teams and say, you know what, I don't want to deal with that news later. Dude just fucking nuked the slate last week, like beyond nuke. I think he had 18 more fantasy points than the next skill position player. If he was in that 1 o'clock window and ruled in, I think, the ownership gets way up there to 25, but man, he's got to not be low owned, but man, if he gets ruled in, it's got to be like a 10% play, I'm assuming. And it's a guy that just went absolutely off. So I will have a decent chunk of Josh Jacobs. I'm banking on the fact that he does play. Now, if he doesn't, where can you go? You need 600 more to get to Austin Eckler, who I think is a phenomenal play. We have, Kenneth Walker at 7K. We got another running back play, it sounds like, with Joe Mixon likely out in P. Ryan. There are some options here. Like you could, if you have him in the flex, you could find a way to maybe get to Devontae Adams. So there are some pivots, even Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the exact same price tag as Jacob. So if you have him in the flex, you could swap to Jamar Chase. So you have options, but it's going to require some work, obviously, and you're going to have to wait to see this news. But I really do think it is important for this slate. Devontae Adams, very strong option. I like Foster Moreau. Everyone keeps messing around with these cheap tight ends. He's been probably the most consistent of the cheap tight ends. The price is still cheap at 3.6. On the Chargers side, Austin Eckler, I will just keep playing him at a high clip. I mean, the role is insane. 15 more targets last week, 11 catches. Definitely going to set the record, I think, for running back number of catches that a running back has in a season. I like Keenan Allen a lot at 6.5K. Played just basically, I think, every snap last week. Had a really good first half, and then for some reason they went away from him in the second. I want to go right back to him. Palmer, Carter, I think they're all solid options. Really good matchup here against the Raiders. This game is obviously Justin Herbert too. I do want to play some Herbert at 7 too. So a lot of pieces here for me, but I love Austin Eckler. I'm just going to keep playing this guy at a high clip.
All right. A lot of good plays in this one. Tony, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, these last two games, you're going to like them. It's just how it is. It does always feel like when we have these nuke spots late that they bust, but one of these weeks, these games are just going to go off. And I just feel like it's this week. I feel like these games just absolutely nuke. And I don't know, like every play is good. Everybody Hoop just named. I wish I could poke holes in some of them, but I mean, the Chargers side, you literally could play any of those guys. They're all really good plays. The Vegas side, I mean, I'm a little bit more concerned with Jacobs than the rest just because of how much I like running back, I guess, is more than everything Hoop said why he's going to be lower owned is basically the bucket I fall into. I don't really want to reconstruct everything when I already like other running backs and I can just play the passing game. Devontae, Moreau, Mac Hollins. So I think Jacobs would be the only one I'm probably not going to play, but it's more so just the injury, and I love running back. I mean, if I want to play Eckler, I want to play P. Ryan, I want to play these guys late. I don't need to play Jacobs. He's a great play, though. When he's in there, he's going to be an even better play because he's going to be lower owned. I mean, these games are awesome. It all comes down to roster construction. That's why I think an interesting build is to play a cheap early quarterback with a cheap early receiver, maybe one other cheapie, and just plug in all these late plays with it and hope your quarterback and receiver get you in the 20s. and just gets all these late plays instead of playing a late quarterback, which obviously the late quarterbacks are great too. I mean, you got, I'm not playing Carr, but you can play Herbert, obviously. And these guys in the next game are obviously great. So everybody in this game, great play. You can't go wrong. You can overstack it. You can do whatever you want.
All right, let's move on. How we doing with the likes, Hoop?
Got a little bit of progress. We're at 1.2K, so we're still looking for probably about 200 more. I mean, we gotta prove. You guys need to prove Big T wrong. He did not have faith in your ability to get to the 1,400 number.
Not cool, guys. Not cool, Big T. Not cool, man. So, guys, click that like button. We got one game left. You want the plays of the day? Got to click that like button. We got over 2,200 of you watching. So go ahead and click that like button. That little thumbs up, bing, helps us out. Let's talk about the game of the week. It's the game where if you don't have anybody going into this game, I think you're making a mistake, because we got a big boy total and a couple of offenses that like to pour it on. It's the Chiefs and the Bengals, a 52.5-point total. The Chiefs, 2.5-point favorites at Cincinnati. Tony, I always start with you with Cincinnati games. Joey Burrow, I was liking it when I saw 8% owned. 16% owned is a little bit concerning, but I still love him. What about you?
You have to love him. I give my speech every week. He's been on more milli makers than anyone. He's a big time player. He's always been it. At LSU, he was awesome. Last year, he was awesome, leading him to the Super Bowl. Big time game against Mahomes. I can't think of anyone I'd rather have in my corner than Joey B. The dude is an absolute stud in these big games. Gets his boy Jamar Chase back. I like Pirine better than Mixon, so I hope Mixon stays. Is he officially out? I think he's going to be out.
Highly unlikely that he plays. He's in.
I hope
really okay.
They're not messing around with that concussion shit. I mean, they're just not. I mean, he's going to.
If he sits, like Pirine is borderline. I know he's high owned, but borderline a lock. 6K.
Are we sure he's going to be high owned if we don't get this news?
I think he's going to be high owned if Mixon's out. He should
well,
be.
So later, people do like the definitive news on these plays. I mean, it's a 4 Eastern play, so I don't think he can be massively owned. I think it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, though, he's a lock for me. As long as he's in there, I mean, I'm playing him. He can catch the ball. He can run. He's in a great spot. Absolutely love Pirine. Chase, they act like everything. He could have played last week, I think, but they wanted to hold him out one more week. I think he's all systems go, and I absolutely love him like I always do. So you can play him. You can play T, Hayden Hurst. Again, this game, same thing. You can play freaking anyone in this game. But I mean, my preferred build is Burrow, Pirine, and one of these receivers, Chase or T, like always. And then the KC side is pretty clear cut for me. I mean, you can always play Mahomes and Kelsey, obviously studs. Juju, 5,700, great play, going to get tons of targets in there. And then you do got some the only guy that, we were right on the notepad last week. This Pacheco dude sucks. That dude got he got like 37 carries inside the 5 and still didn't hit a ceiling.
No victory laps, Crain.
Yeah, definitely no. I do owe you a hundy though. That you do get that victory lap. But I mean, this dude, in all seriousness, you got your hundy and you shipped that bet. But in all seriousness, this dude got the best run out you could ever have in life. So many, like someone in chat that knows these stats. How many carries inside the 5 did this dude get? Like 10. Like he scored 1 touchdown. But
I'll tell you what, against the Bengals, he's not getting those carries. That ball is remaining in Patrick Mahomes' hand. I'll guarantee you that.
So I think what you can do though is you can go down to these receivers though. Sky Moore, especially 3,100, and Justin Watson 3,200, a little bit behind him, but on a slate, I think you guys would agree. There's so many studs on this slate, and there's a lot of unknowns in the middle tier, at least more than usual. I think you can gamble on cheaper, like 3K receivers on this slate. And you know what? If I get Sky Moore and he's in the late game at 3,100 in a shootout and he sucks, that's fine. Like I had a chance. I got some studs in there. So I'm on board for these cheap guys. Sky Moore especially, more so than Justin Watson, but you can play Watson too. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one that got some work, but those price tags to get the studs in, I'm in today on it.
Do you think MVS is in play too?
He's the one I just don't ever play, but he's in play. I just think he sucks. He's the one I hate. I think Mahomes even hates him because he always drops the ball. Rodgers hated him too. I just think he has big play upside. You could definitely use him. I just think they hate him. I think Sky Moore is going to take over for him.
I just look at a guy like him and like, how is he this guy? Like, why do teams keep giving him chances? Like, you just based on the eye test, you watch the guy and he just sucks
because he's a burner. That's the only thing.
It's just always big drops though too. It's like
Josh
just
in the chat said Pacheco 12 attempts inside the 10,
and we got our host taking the victory lap around.
He did get my Hyundai though, so that's a victory.
Crain should. You should. I mean that should be your new line of work. Just dominating these little side bets. You know.
I'll tell you what.
You almost got your plus 600 on 2 TDs too.
I know. You should have got in a
400 or whatever it was.
It was plus 600.
Yeah, plus 600.
God, how tilted would you have been if I got your action at plus 600 and you got in?
I would have taken it too, just to make a point.
Oh, that's good. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna put DC's Hundo on the wall.
You have to, man.
It would be a great background.
You got to frame those, man. Yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's definitely gonna be the background.
Just frame that puppy.
I
like that idea, actually.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. My background. I've been trying to decide what to do. I like that one. It's God, TC. Yeah, 135 pounds. Get out of here. Even Hoop can do that.
Even Hoop can do that. Me and I was texting Big T when I was at the gym. Hoop can do that puppy about 20 times. So if you want a video,
that's the one I want. The under on the 20.
You want under on 20? No, Tony.
20 reps in a row?
I think he could. Yes. I think he
20. I don't
20.
know.
I mean, if you want, I mean, I would accept max bet. I mean, I
there's
trust
Tony.
me.
There's no way.
I mean, I'd like to see him crank 20 in a row.
Yeah,
there is no way that Hoop would take the worst side of this. There's no way Hoop would take the worst side of this. He could do 20.
I'm not saying I'm going in there and doing like 40, okay? But I know, like, when I go. Again, I'm not like a huge muscle dude, but when I go in there, my first rep is 15 at 135. So I know I can push out like 5 more. So maybe we'll get a video tomorrow. We'll see. I do chest on Monday.
Way to start the week.
I do chest on Monday.
Slides in and says he can hit it 20 piece.
Snyder definitely can. I guarantee Snyder can.
Snyder goes to the gym twice a day, though.
Yeah.
Snyder, you got to get the workbench. Now, get off that workbench and get on the real workbench.
Yeah, get off the bench. Get on the workbench.
Hoop, how we looking with those likes, buddy?
Yeah, Big T might be right here. Unfortunately, 1.2. 1.2 is not is not the number.
You got about 1 minute to get to 1.4K. So if you haven't done it yet, now's the time. Go ahead and click that like button. What?
Bunch of tough
comments. Yeah, a bunch of tough guys. Yeah, we're real tough talkers over here. We're talking about benching 135, guy. We're talking 135. It's not like we're on here saying, yeah, let's get that 265 on there and start bumping out 10 of those puppies. 135.
Minus 200 triceps tear.
Oh man, it was funny. No, my trainer, I asked, I told him what was going on.
That can't be true. Stop. I gotta pull it up.
All right, so this I'm playing at wide receiver.
Let's hear the trainer story though. I was intrigued by where you're going.
I mean, it wasn't that good of a story. He's like, have them try and bet me. I can do 400. I'm like,
yeah, K Fallick is he's hanging out at he's at the what is it called? What's the event this week?
The King of the Beach.
Yeah, he's at the King of the Beach for vacation purposes, it appears.
Drake London and Chase Claypool.
Drake, I can get behind Chase. I cannot get behind Drake. Like Drake London is, I can't do it.
He does got P Ryan in there though. I like that play.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna play P Ryan for sure. Like,
yeah,
you guys like him. Like that's just a good spot. And I'll tell you, so Tony, you're saying that my Sky Moore, Chase Claypool, Nico Collins team can't win?
He likes the Sky Moore part. I know that's for sure.
You can if your 3 running backs all nuke.
Oh man, no, I got to get Debo and Chase in there. By the way, I know I haven't really given my take. I love Jamar Chase this week. Absolutely love him.
He's one guy that I don't think I could ever not like when he's in there. Yeah. I mean, he just has unlimited upside.
This is I know I haven't talked about this one yet, but these are the the best sort of games here. It's the highest total on the slate. All right, sitting at 53. There's no way these pieces get high owned. There's just no way. You look at the quarterbacks. Mahomes, probably 5-ish%. Burrow, what did you guys say Burrow was going to be?
He's going to be
16.
higher just because of the price, but
quarterback always gets spread out.
Yeah.
Okay, then you look at the wide receivers. People are going to wait on Chase. They're not going right to Jamar Chase after the 4-week time off. So they're going to wait on him. He's going to be lowish owned. And then you have Higgins and Boyd, who their ownership isn't going to be crazy. You go to the Chiefs side, there's no way people are just jamming Kelsey at 7.9K at tight end. He's going to be lower owned than he should be. And then all these wide receivers for the Chiefs are going to be relatively low owned as well. So you have a game where nothing is popping in terms of like high ownership. The 53 total, both teams, are willing just to chuck it. Hayden Hurst as well at tight end. You have a plethora of plays here, and they're all not necessarily low owned, but lower owned than they should be. And Perine's going to be in that category too, because what we just talked about, the Joe Mixon news is still somewhat uncertain. It seems likely that he sits, but people don't want to lock themselves into those fragile situations at 4 p.m. Eastern. So Perine's lower than he should be as well. Just a perfect spot for fantasy, really is.
I do think, I mean, I'm not saying I would do this, but like if I was playing one or two teams, like I think it's okay to just literally ignore the early games. Just totally ignore them and just make teams in the afternoon, and then
see what happens with Jacobs. You have the flexibility
though, too. Like because everyone's going to play at least a few pieces early with their afternoon. Like it gets you unique where you have all late guys. I just think these two games just go off.
Yeah, but you can't ignore the early game if you're going to play Nico.
Nico and Claypool. Nico, Claypool, and Najee Harris. Things start to get clogged up there pretty quick.
Oh man!
Did they say Josh Jacobs? Someone put Josh Jacobs likely to play. Is that a verified report or no? Because that is big. That's really big news. Someone just put it in there. Probably not verified though. Yeah, I don't see it.
I'm glad you said Sky Moore, by the way. I needed like a super cheap.
I just don't see the risk really, right? Because this shouldn't make sense, but in my head it does. Like if a 3,100 guy busts in the morning, like you feel bad about it. But in the afternoon for the Chiefs, you're literally not dead with Sky Moore until the last minute of that game. He could catch a touchdown with a minute left. You literally have life the whole slate.
My guy, Brandon McNear says, I'm avoiding late guys. Well, you'll also be avoiding giblets today because they're not going to be coming.
B-Nair, you're not avoiding the late guys. Get out of here, B-Nair.
This is not the slate to avoid late guys. Like, just don't do it.
The only thing you got going working for you, and this isn't going to be, is they always bust at this spot, but it's not happening today. How many times have we been excited for these games and I just don't see how especially the Raiders do sucks at times. I see no chance this Cincinnati game doesn't get points. Like I can't imagine it being low scoring.
Yeah, no, we're going to get points here. I think all these guys are pretty safe. Like I'm not going to say Sky Moore is safe. Like if you want safety, find a way to pay it for Kelsey. I'm struggling to do it. Like Hawkinson's is as expensive as I've been able to get to. Yeah, I'm wanting to play Debo. I'm wanting to play 2 or 3 of these stud running backs. Like it's just I can't get to Kelsey. Hoop, do you think it's a mistake? Like just because Kelsey, it's really hard to play him on this slate.
No, I love that fact. These are my favorite Kelsey slates where it's not easy to, especially on DK where people just naturally go low. Like these are the best Kelsey slates. I mean, he's probably going to be, I don't know, like 10% or something. I could be wrong. I mean, I'd kind of just throw out numbers, but I just, in my head, I just don't think many people are going to say, okay, yeah, 7.9K for Kelsey. Let's get him in. It is somewhat difficult to do
this
that.
1.4K like bet pretty hard.
Yeah, I know.
We've been talking for 20 minutes since we said that.
It says somebody, Uncle T says we're almost there. Guys, we're almost there.
We just gave him an extra 15 minutes to get it.
We got like 30
This is the worst underbet of all time against
now we might as well stay on for inactives. Keep it going.
We're just stay up to lock and we'll finally hit it.
The refs 20 seconds left. The refs are calling timeout every freaking play. Nothing but free throws. Like we're gonna hit that.
We'll go to 1.4. We gotta go. We can't do it. They had too long today.
Yeah,
we're putting them in the Discord.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Tough
guys, we
seed.
got to get going. It's 10:30. It's 11:30 over on the East Coast. Yep, we got to get going. But guys, we're gonna have core plays and our plays of the day over on the Discord for the members. It's been fun, guys.
It's gonna be a fun day. I think we're gonna ship. I feel good about it.
I like it. Like I like that we're a little bit weird. We're a little bit yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one. I'm with you on Sky Moore. That's a fun one. Sky Moore,
I like that call.
I don't think I've played him all year. I think this is going to be the time that we play him. So it's been a lot of fun, guys. What do we got coming up, Hoop?
Up to lock show, taking you guys. I mean, and there is some actually significant news. I mean, the Zay Jones to me is like very important. Like what happens with Zay Jones, because there's been nothing on him. That's like to me like the one piece of news that I'm really, really waiting on. Holden, JSU, and Dunkel on today as well. So I think those three, will be taking everyone up to lock.
All right, sounds good. We got to get off here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. For Hoop, for Big T, for Nico Collins, for Sky Moore, for Najee Harris, and for our boy Devo, and for Simon producing behind the scenes. I'm Eric. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will catch you later. Peace.